The return of the Chaz. What's up? Weird night for you. Is this Sunday night? I think it's Sunday night. I have no idea what night it is.
It is nice. An unusual visit or appearance on a show on a Sunday night. It's probably my first time showing up on a Sunday night, but I'm here for it. Now I'm ready.
Yeah, I just got done with a 3-hour fucking draft. 3-hour online draft. That shows how crazy Nick O's league is. It's 24 rounds for something I would make. You know, I like really deep leagues, not dynasty. There's 4 IDPs. It was pretty wild. I'll read my team for you guys in a little bit. It's weird because it's half PPR. There's 4 IDPs. It's like half point per first down, which, you know, brings up running back, 6 for a passing touchdown. Either way, I'll read the team here in a little bit. It's really wonky. And for years, my team was called the Kinky Sheriff. Because as you know, Chaz, I love taking handcuff running backs. And I have 6 of the top 9. And I do have a good running back. I think I have Javonte Williams and who's my starter? Chase Brown and Javonte Williams. So I have a good 2, but you could start 4 because of the flex spots. But I have all the handcuffs in the world, and that's how I love to operate. Wally says, legendary Chaz. Blake, 23 days until NFL Week 1. That is wild, mind-blowing. These next 23 days are going to be insane for me. Can't wait. I have about 40 drafts to do in 23 days, but it's really 38 drafts in 15 days is the real like heart of it. I'm excited, bro. I'm ready.
And one of those should include, one of our leagues with the Elgin guys.
That's at the end of the show. We're actually doing the draft order. I have it queued up from the other computer. So we're gonna end the show with the draft order on the wheel of destiny. And 12 days until college. That's week 0. I love how they have week 0 in college. Super weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more so just excited to see what Will Stein can do at Kentucky. I know it's not technically I'm graduating now, but I'm just excited to see what's going on there.
Ever had Pizzeria Uno? Had to get a to-go pizza for tonight. No, I haven't. Again, I'm not actually in the city. Connor, are you still in Chicago? I saw you saw an Epic's Cardinals record-breaking performance by the rookie, 3 touchdowns, 3 home runs in his first game. That's pretty badass. Chaz, yeah, your mic's pretty muffled, man. I think you need to definitely speak up, but let me see if I can change your audio settings.
Okay.
Let me see here. Hold on a second. Watch this. How's this? Chaz, give me a tester. How you doing? Better?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, everything's
all right.
Been going
I think that's better.
Working this morning.
I guess you just need to project. See how I project my voice? Like I project my cum. It just projects.
Okay.
Yeah. Too much for him. Connor, yeah, glad that you got to be in Chicago. It sucks we couldn't meet up, but Jonathan, what's up, family? That's the kind of guy Jonathan is. Shout out, Jonathan. Hell of a show. 2 nights ago, Jonathan was on. We had Dakota on last night. That was a wild show with Big Ray. It was 4 hours long. I think it might be a little better, but Chaz, you ain't got to whisper, brother. So you're getting a lot of shit in the crowd. So you just got to project that beautiful fucking voice of yours. Project it. Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to do it. This is good. You need to bring back the Chaz Sutton meme for this season. Well, I might have a surprise for you guys in a little bit if you stick around. So before we get into this is wide receiver tiers. I didn't even start with what we're doing today. It's in the thumbnail. Wide receiver tiers. We're going to break down as many as we can get through, at least the first 3 or 4 tiers, but we don't want to skimp on the information. We're going to get you 2 hours here and all, who should be in what tier, which guys we like, all those things. Before we get to that, though, I do have a few news items for you, my dude.
Guys, I've got news. I've got terrible news.
So this is exactly what I wanted a vacation from.
There are 2 guys in this church that are gay.
Who's the other guy?
I don't get the joke.
Yeah, he's never gonna understand.
What's wrong with that?
All right, number 1, we have Casey Concepcion. You're a Bears guy. They played the Bears week 1. I watched this game pretty closely. As you know, I had Casey Concepcion as my number 1 receiver coming in this draft class. Big fan of KC. And, he got tripped up by his own player in that punt return. But rushing touchdown, the receiving work, he's going to be awesome in return yards, which isn't great in a lot of leagues. But dude's a baller. He's a playmaker. I comped him to Odell Beckham. Seemed wild at the time, and it still is kind of wild to say. But, people are drafting Boston. It's after him, but, people like Boston. I'm not a Boston guy. Concepcion is going to be the do-it-all on this team. It's Harold Fannin. It's Concepcion. It's Judkins. But the usage, the creativity, the guy is just so good after the catch, and his hands look pretty good. Like, if they're going to use them like this, which I think we think they are, this is where should we draft Concepcion? I'm bringing this up now because I don't know if we're going to get that far because he goes like wide receiver 49. Like, that's the kind of bench receiver we want, right? A rookie with juice.
I mean, my only worry is just it's hard to want to, especially in redraft, to stake a lot of or even reach on a guy that's wide receiver 49. Especially when I really don't believe in the offense there as of yet. I mean, Deshaun and Shador is just not enticing. I'm very happy for Judkins, but it's just tough, especially in redraft, to go rookie. It's a risky pick, but hey, if you want to make that pick, I wouldn't necessarily want to reach on it, but it seems like with the way Rob's talking about him, he might want to do that.
For me, it comes down to like the shallower the league, the more I'm about Concepcion. Like if it's a really deep league and he's your flex, like there are some question marks, but the floor is kind of built in with these design touches. If they're going to get him the ball in space and a couple carries and some, little pop passes, that's money, dude. And the rest of the stuff is just icing on the cake because he is a do-it-all receiver. And this is the kind of guy I want on my bench, right? I don't want to take Jacoby Myers. I want Concepcion over Myers because what is Jacoby Myers? Like, he needs possibly 2 injuries to be like a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3. Concepcion's the number 1 receiver on this team. As much as Boston will probably be the snap leader, right? Boston will be out there a fuckload running sacrificial X receiver snaps. But that's not, I don't trust the quarterback play. When I'm worried about the quarterback play, who am I not worried about? It's the fucking gadget player, the guy they're gonna design touches for. Like, Boston's gonna have to win on real NFL routes, which A, I don't think he's capable of doing, and B, I don't think the quarterback's capable of providing those throws to him, or the offensive line giving the quarterback said time. Concepcion is not a victim of any of those circumstances. So I just sounded really smart there. I'm hammered. That's what's up. I love Concepcion. I've been loving him since March, and I drafted him quite a bit in best ball, and I think that the worry that people have is the Browns. And I'm apparently pretty high on a lot of Browns players. I'm at consensus on Fannin. I love Judkins. I love Sampson in best ball. And then Concepcion I want to draft. So we could be wrong on this offense. Now, they're never going to be a top 10 offense. But would it surprise you if they were like 23rd or 22nd this year with the playmakers they have? Is that wild to say?
I mean, it's not wild. I do love Fannin, Judkins. And if Concepcion could play like how you're talking, I saw how the Jets were last year with horrible QB play and just horrible offense, which I think the offense can be run completely differently. But Shador and Deshaun, man, I just can't get behind it right now.
At least they have 2, though. And they both suck, yes, but at least there's another option, That's what I mean. The Falcons have some appeal because if 2 doesn't work, you have Penix, and the counter to that is they both suck. But I'd rather have that than just one. If you just had Watson there, then it's like if he doesn't work out, it's really fucked. Yeah. It's a nice little feather in our cap. Next guy here, this is Bashal Tutin, and this has always been a concern. And I've been talking up Chris Rodriguez for a while now, and I've always been a big LeQuint Allen fan. This has the makings of the Buccaneers from last year. Kind of reverse order where the third guy is LeQuint Allen, who's not getting the goal line stuff, but they loved him last year in Pass Pro. He was 20 or 21 years old. He's a second-year player now. If they trusted him last year and they were a playoff team, LeQuint Allen's going to be on the field. We know Chris Rodriguez is a favorite of Liam Cohen and not a really good early down grinder, but a guy that's trusted, right? He's going to get the yards that are blocked, but Bashal Tutin's not going to get those. So where does Bashal Tutin fall? He falls in the explosive play, a guy that is going to make the most out of his touches. But if we're talking about 12 touches a game with this report of like committee, committee's one thing when it's 2 guys. We have 3 guys in the fold here. And Trevor Lawrence is also not afraid to run the ball. 9 rushing touchdowns last year. That's almost another running back if you add that in, right? So it's like now it's almost split 4 ways. If this offense is in top 5, like Bashal Tutin being drafted at running back 21, 22, I get it's a fair price for the type of prospect and archetype of running back he is. But this seems real gross. This could be very disappointing. And that's why I'm always taking Judkins over him. I know that's a worse offense, but I know he's going to get the fucking work. Where are you at on Bashal Tutin?
It's interesting. I mean, as someone who took him in Dynasty, it was. I mean, we were definitely thinking about. Me and Ray were thinking about good things going into the season, and then it's just been more and more reports of committee, which me and Ray did not want to hear at all. So it's definitely worrisome. I guess we'll see. I mean, I am a big Chris Rodriguez fan just because I saw him at Kentucky. I know he can put up monster numbers out there. But I was really hoping that Bajal Tootin could be, I wouldn't say that, a 70% guy, but just even get 55 to 60% of the snaps. So
how do you break down the snap share here? Because I have something in my mind that makes a lot of sense. And I want to just preface this with last year, ETN was, I think, running back 7, and he had 64% of the running back work. Not snap share, but 64, which isn't that high for a player like ETN. But this offense, obviously, Liam Cohen, he's somebody with Bucky Irvin the year prior. Like, he is a running back whisperer. He's going to feature the running back position. What do you think the snap share? Let's just talk snap share with these three guys, Tootin, Rodriguez, and LaQuinn Allen.
I think it might be 45, 10. It could even leak just a little bit. Is that kind of what you were thinking, or?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 50% Tootin, and I would say 40% C-Rod and 10 LaQuinn Allen. But that's not great. That's great for Chris Rodriguez because if he's getting the goal line work and you're drafting him in the 130s, that's money. If LaQuinn 10% is pretty low, it's game script dependent, right? The games are losing, LaQuinn Allen might play 22%. Games that they're winning against a team like the Browns or the Jets, maybe LaQuinn Allen only gets 5 snaps. But if we're talking about LaQuinn Allen being a factor and we're saying 10% is nothing. It's enough to take away from these guys, but that number could go up. And if LaQuinn Allen's playing even 14 to 16% of the snaps, now it almost makes Tootin and Rodriguez unusable, right? It's like all of them are fucked, and whoever scores a touchdown, which would be Chris Rodriguez. But I think 50% Bajal Tootin makes a lot of sense. They're going to want to feature him because he does something no one else does here. He is a bigger body than Quinn Allen, but he's faster than Chris Rodriguez. Like, he can do it all. He's 215 pounds. Actually scored 8 touchdowns in a rookie. Like, the dude can score inside the red zone, and maybe not as a goal line player, but when you're on the 7, 8, 9 yard line, 50, 40, 10 is how I would break it down. And Tootin can still, return value there where you're drafting him, but it's kind of just a risky proposition. I want my fucking players in the field, and there's a chance that Trevor Lawrence sucks again. There's a chance his offense takes a step back. Like, there's a lot of things that have to work for Bajal Tootin to be, people like mentioned league winner with Bajal Tootin. It's like, you got to be on the field to be a league winner. And if he's playing 50% of the snaps, and we think that's maybe aggressive because you said less than that, I don't know. I mean, and there's a lot of ways it can go right. Rodriguez isn't back from that foot injury. LaQuinn Allen isn't playing like we think, but I want to get some shares of Tootin though, because I don't want to miss out. But trusting him as an RB2 in a deep league seems risky. Like, I prefer the price of Chris Rodriguez. I guess I'll leave it at that.
I mean, I'm also thinking of the fact that we're projecting worst case scenario here. Like, it's probably as rough as it can get, in terms of the reports that are coming out, preseason. He can still play his way into a bigger role and just be an absolute monster this year, which I would not be surprised if this happens. It's just obviously not the reports that we want to be hearing before the season starts.
Thank you, Blake, as a moderator. Again, shout out Blake, the media manager of the channel. Alicia over here mentioned Von Miller to the Cowboys like 4 times. Yes, I'm aware that Von Miller's in the Cowboys. I didn't highlight the comment for many reasons, mostly because Von Miller's entering his 17th fucking NFL season, and he's a defensive player. And like, if this was 2019, I'd be like, all right, let's lead with this. But no, I'd rather talk about Bajal Tootin. Anyways, he is a dinosaur. Thank you, Hetzer. We have one more to get to here, and it is Josh Jacobs. So, ironically enough, I'm gonna share my team I just drafted in Nick O's league. I've been in this league since 2011. Speaking of dinosaurs, that's a long time. Josh Jacobs. Now we have, this is the quote from Matt LaFleur, is that Josh Jacobs, his groin injury, could potentially resume practicing late next week. That's like 3 things. Potentially late next week. And you have the suspension looming, potential suspension. And Marshawn Lloyd's getting a lot of hype, which doesn't scare me for Josh Jacobs because in general, like Marshawn Lloyd's just going to get hurt. Like I'm just not worried about that. But there's a lot of risks here at Josh Jacobs. Even though if you take away the injury and the suspension, Josh Jacobs is probably the safest player you could draft if you want to go on past performance and just the player he is, the role he has in this offense, and being on the Packers. But all these other stuff here is just like, where are you comfortable drafting Josh Jacobs? Like, is it 4th round? Because the upside, like 13 touchdowns, 14 touchdowns the first 2 years. That's 27 touchdowns in 2 years while missing a couple games since he's been on the Packers. And all they've done since then is lose Dubs and Wicks. Tucker Kraft coming off an ACL. Like, the runway is actually better for Josh Jacobs. We didn't have all this other fucking noise.
Yeah, I mean, I would still take him 4th round just because, like, this could all be, preseason scare. I mean, obviously this is not endorsing news, but if the guy's going to be healthy, he's going to be on the field. He's going to be an RB1, which or back end RB1 in my opinion, could be a high end RB2 depending on the year he has. But if anything, I would say his floor would be RB15 if he's healthy for the full year. So I would still take him probably in that 4th round. Obviously, once again, these are not, the greatest endorsements or news coming out of the, camp and preseason, but I'm not going to completely give up on a guy before week 1.
All right. I don't know where I'm comfortable. I guess it depends on the league. The shallower it's weird because like the shallower the league, I don't see the upside in Josh Jacobs. The touchdowns are nice, but like didn't have a single 100-yard rushing game last year. What is pass catching's fine, but it's like, who do you want? Josh Jacobs or Javonte Williams in half PPR right now?
Oh, I'll take Javonte just because I know that offense is going to be like moving. And obviously I don't have to worry about, whatever groin injury he has, whatever suspension is looming. I would much rather have Williams.
All right. Well, speaking of that, Storey actually took Josh Jacobs in the 3rd round ahead of Javonte Williams. So this is a half PPR. So the settings are it's 6 for a passing touchdown. It's half PPR. You get 0.5 points per first down, which does elevate. That counts for quarterbacks as well. So quarterbacks score a lot. That elevates, running backs. I'm going to read you guys the team I just drafted. I should have loaded up on the screen, but I've been drinking. So it is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 2 flexes, and a tight end. So essentially you could start 4 running backs. You could start 4 receivers, whichever you choose, 3 and 3. Here's the squad. We have Drake May at quarterback, Chase Brown, Javonte Williams, JSN, Rashee Rice, Tucker Kraft, Terry McLaurin, and then I don't have a flex. So I have Alec Pierce and Jordan Tyson. So I took both those injury risk guys super late as my wide receiver, essentially my wide receiver 4 and 5, Alec Pierce and Jordan Tyson. And then I have right now, I have Tyler Algier in here, but I'm going to give you my handcuff running back. So I have Tyler Algier. I have Tank Bigsby. I have Woody Marks. I have Keaton Mitchell. I have Brian Robinson. I have Mike Washington. I have P. Ryan, Emmett Johnson. So I have like over half of the elite handcuff running backs. The receiver room is pretty strong. Kraft and May. I hate taking onesies, just kind of the way the board fell. But it's a weird team. Rice fell to me in the 4th round in a 12-team league. This is a 12-team league. Like, and everyone's like, that's a bad pick. I'm like, I don't even like Rashee Rice. It's half PPR. I get he's better than full PPR. I was like, okay, I'm in on that. So one more time, Drake May, Chase Brown, Javonte, JSN, Rashee Rice, Kraft, McLaurin is one of my flexes. The second flex is probably going to be Jordan Tyson or Alec Pierce. But then Algier, Bigsby, Marks, Keaton Mitchell, Brian Robinson, Mike Washington, P. Ryan. And yeah, I don't know. Not my favorite team, but first draft of the year. Definitely the benches. I love those handcuff running back situation. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty good. And you're not obviously hoping for any injuries, but you're hoping eventually one of those guys that, is going to be on your bench can help fill that last flex role, especially if Pierce and Tyson, have a little bit of a slower start to the season.
I will see which one of them even plays. We're going to get all that. This is the wide receiver show. We're going to get to the wide receiver tiers in just a second. Matt Galloway, who didn't show up to the draft, me, Storey, Nick O, a bunch of other guys were there. Disappointed, Matt. You live like 15 minutes away from us, and you auto-drafted some picks, or at least it said you did. But what's up, Matt? How you doing? Let's get to a couple comments before we get to the tiers. Sir Denise, what do you think about Jonathan Taylor and PPR redraft fantasy? Save as fuck, man. Top 8 pick for sure. CMC or Jonathan Taylor?
I'll go CMC. In PPR, I can't say no to that upside of 100+ catches last year. Could potentially have that again this year. Especially in PPR, I'll go CMC.
What's up, K-Space? We got Wally. Why do people play half PPR? I don't mind half PPR. I just smash running backs in half PPR, right? Like over wide receivers. But it's fine. I think half PPR is probably the most pure form of fantasy. PPR is just better for me because I can predict value much better, and that's the easier thing to predict. And I just take receivers that get fucking targets. And half PPR definitely weighs some touchdowns more, which is fine.
No, I just saw that same guy said he would much rather go JT over CMC just because of the reports about CMC coming out. Now, if it stands my memory correct, CMC was on the injury report Friday before the first game last year, and everyone went into a frenzy, and he ended up playing all 17 games. I'm really sorry about with the 49ers and what they report and what they don't report. I don't really care about what comes out unless it's obviously a substantial injury. Some tightness, they're just being precautionary. It's preseason.
They also didn't report anything the year that he was out for the whole year until the fucking after Sunday happened. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Kyle Shanahan, as much as I like Kyle Shanahan, like, he fucks around with the injury report, and let's not read too much into that. What's up, Dakota? Cubs fan in deep doo-doo after being caught on TV cam pushing woman while trying to get a home run. That's an issue. You know, you have guys in the history dropping their babies to get home run balls, so different era we're living in for sure. Yeah, Damian Martinez I do like as a replacement for Jacobs over Chris Brooks and potentially over Lloyd. If you don't remember, Damian Martinez was the running back with Cam Ward in Miami. He was drafted by the Seahawks in like round 6, but that was round 6 in the Kyle Monangai draft when it was a really great running back class. And the Seahawks just gave up on Damian Martinez. So he's the type of his archetype. He's like a 230-pound bruiser. So definitely a guy to keep an eye on. See, my league is full PPR. I have 3 running backs, JT, A-Chain, Kenneth, and Flex. Love that. Even in full PPR, those are PPR. Besides JT, who still had, has 50 catch potential. Those are good PPR running backs. Genty or Saquon in a 4-man keeper league. 4-man keeper league. Well, let's just not talk about that part of it. Genty or Saquon, what's the scoring? It's Genty in full PPR. It's Saquon in half PPR for me. Does that change it for you, or is it Saquon either way? Or is it Genty either way?
I mean, the only thing is just that it's a keeper. So it's like I kind of lean Genty because I just think that offense. I think the Raiders are. I mean, I drafted him in the dynasty over a couple of the other guys that honestly were probably out looking for a better fantasy year. So I'm pretty high on the Raiders offense, especially for the future. I mean, the fact that it's a keeper kind of, influences my decision there. But I also do like Saquon, but I would much rather have Genty there.
Dakota, what shots do we take at the Niners? You know what's funny is Nick O is like the biggest Niners fan I know as a co-host on the show. He's never once taken a back at anything I've ever said about the Niners because I'm actually a Kyle Shanahan defender because the dude's never got it done in big games, but he's an elite coach and definitely an elite coordinator. I'm just saying, I have 2 friends, my buddy Joe Holokowski, giant, his middle name's Montana, for instance, and they have never had an issue with anything I've ever said about the Niners. So I'm wondering what we said. It was probably you, Chaz, you son of a bitch.
Well, it could have just been saying that I don't really care what the Niners report injury-wise.
Oh, 100%, because that's this fact. That's fact. We should not give a fuck. Kyle Shanahan. All coaches lie about this shit, but the Niners are definitely known to that. Follow Kubiak. I think the Raiders are most underrated team in the NFL, as much as it pains me to say. I mean, they're off. They're not underrated. Like, they're going to be bad. Their division's too hard. There's just no way the Raiders win 8 games this year. I'm sorry. There's just no way. Like, if we're talking about okay, so we have the Chargers, who are a potential dark horse Super Bowl team, the Broncos, who would have been in the Super Bowl last year if Bo Nix didn't get hurt, and the Chiefs, who make it to the AFC Championship game every year, besides last year, which was a dead year anyway. But those 3 teams are ahead of them in that division, so like good luck. But they'll be very, very feisty, right? They might be a 5 or 6 win team that's in a lot of games that actually gives us some fantasy goodness. Derek, full PPR. Would you prefer Jonathan Taylor and Nico / Neighbors or Kyron and JSN? JT and Nico.
Yeah, right? I mean, that's 2 of the top guys, and I understand JSN is. I don't see that much of a difference between, or at least between Nico, Neighbors, compared to JSN as I do the difference between JT and Kyron. I don't know if that's how you're kind of looking at it.
It's Kyron. As much as we like Kyron, and I don't, but Kyron is a sturdy, steady option. Jonathan Taylor is an elite RB1. Kyron Williams is a fringe RB1 because Blake Corum is there. So, like, that is the difference. JSN's better than either of these receivers for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But they're closer to the same tier than Kyron and Jonathan Taylor is how I break this down. What he said was he doesn't care about the Niners injury report, right? That's exactly we shouldn't care about their injury report.
I own them.
Niners would be electric this year. Nice. Jonathan with a funny off the bat. I got to give him some props because that's some good shit.
Oh, hot.
All right, let's get into the wide receiver tiers here and talk about the first tier and a bunch of these guys that we have. I guess the first question is, let's talk about Puka just for a quick second. You know, he is hurt right now. I'm not too worried. You have 24 days until the season starts. But it's the suspension risk, which I would say this. I think it's only a one-game suspension if it happens. But there's a couple things. All the times of him fucking missing, a quarter or two, which he always comes back. But maybe there's a chance he doesn't one of these times for a stretch. JSN's so darn safe. It's just such a nice feeling. But definitely regression, efficiency regression. Maybe Shaheed's more involved. Maybe Torrey Horton's more involved. Maybe they run the ball better this year. Are you taking Puka over JSN?
I'm going to go back
full
to
PPR.
Puka. I'm full PPR. I just got to go Puka. I mean, I understand. I know you're talking about the injury concern. He does. It feels like a lot of the weeks, or I won't say a lot of the weeks, but you know the notification where it's like, oh, Puka Nacua went to the locker room, whatever, misses maybe half a quarter, a full quarter, and then comes back and plays great. Maybe sometimes he will, or maybe this year he might have that more extensive injury, but man, that Rams offense is going to be moving again with McVay. Stanford's going to try and still squeeze out as much high-level ball as he can. I think Nacua is going to be a product of that, and I see a lot of aggression coming for JSN.
Same. I think the only way I would consider JSN, the deeper the league, the more it makes sense to possibly go JSN, because the upside with Puka is just it's safety and upside. It's just the injury stuff, the availability stuff. And I want to quote, by the way, thank you, Connor, Chicago Tax, $20 holler. To quote the man, Big Ray, the best availability is availability. And, JSN is going to have that for sure. Puka's role is just fucking downright dangerous, man. Like in the blocking game, the fact they give him end arounds in the red zone, which we love for fantasy. I don't love that for like longevity of career and longevity of like playing an entire season where like that's dangerous shit. Right. I love the way Puka plays. He'd be, if he was a Bear, I would love him even more because I want that guy on my team. Definitely. But if you're a fantasy owner of Puka, and I have been, especially his rookie year a lot when he was free, it's scary because it's just like you're watching him just run into brick walls. And I love the competitiveness. But once in a while, it's like run out of bounds, bro. Like you don't need to fucking put your head into this fucking defensive lineman blocking, just chip his legs. But no, I see what you're saying. Thank you again, Connor. I'm going to go a beer chug for that one. And let me get back to the list. Sorry. So last question here. St. Brown deserves to be in this tier or no? Is St. Brown closer to JSN and Puka or Lamb and Jefferson?
I think he's definitely deserving of this tier. I know he's been debatable for me all offseason. I know we had that decision early in the offseason with Dynasty taking Genty over him. I just really think that offense is going to have to move. And the product of that is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's in for a huge year. I mean, bigger than he normally is. And I think he definitely deserves to be in this tier with the elite of the elites.
That's fair. Let's get to the second tier. And CeeDee Lamb and Jefferson totally up top makes sense. For me, and we can argue about Jefferson in a second, but like CeeDee Lamb, I understand the George Pickens thing. I understand that, all this CeeDee Lamb love is pretty much going back to he had one giant year of 1,700 yards and 12 touchdowns. Other than that, it's always kind of been something with CeeDee Lamb, right? And I'm not making excuses for the guy, or I don't want to hear other people's excuses for the guy, but it has been something with CeeDee Lamb, right? A hamstring injury here, Dak Prescott getting hurt that 1 year. It's always something. And he's only had one truly elite year. And then we started drafting him at the, 1 overall, 2 overall. But this is a nice price, like end of the first round. So I'm going to have the Lamb versus Jefferson conversation. I think we both agree Jefferson would have a higher upside because A, he's a better player, and B, he is the true number one in his offense. There's really nothing. As much as I love TJ Hawkinson, there ain't no threat there. And, Jordan Addison's a nice little player, but it's Justin Jefferson. But the quarterback issue is definitely tougher. Like Dak Prescott, regardless of what you believe of Dak Prescott as an NFL winning quarterback or whatever, like he is a really good fantasy quarterback and really good for the weapons in that offense. And this defense is not that much improved. So I definitely have CD over Jefferson, but the upside does lie with Jefferson just based on if this offense goes nuclear again and Kevin O'Connell gets back some of that magic. Like Jefferson's the number one beneficiary here, where CeeDee Lamb has to split it two ways essentially. So how are you ranking this? And do you think that Lamb should be in this first tier, or are these guys fair to be in the same tier?
I think they're fair with that tier that they're in right now, and I agree more so with the rankings. If you want to take Jefferson first, I don't mind it because that upside can fully be there. It would just be tough with the fact that it's Kyler's on a 1 year. Obviously coming in this offseason, morale could be pretty low, especially because now it was a QB battle that's already been won by Kyler. But you do know that Justin Jefferson can't put up that insane year. And CeeDee Lamb, as you said, has only done a one year fully. But overall, with safeness, I would definitely take CD over J. Jeff. But if you want to reach and be aggressive, I would not mind J. Jettis.
In terms of the rest of the tiers, so I'm a big London fan, have been for a while.
Yeah.
I'm much more, and I understand Tua is not a great marriage with what Drake London wants to do. Tua's not going to throw into traffic. He's not throwing downfield. The Penix, if you told me it was Michael Penix all year, I would definitely have London in this tier, like almost ahead of Justin Jefferson, because it's just magic. But Tua is just a bitch. It just sucks to say, but Tua is going to be great for Kyle Pitts and great for Bijan, not great for Drake London. I still want to take London over AJ Brown and Nico Collins, and I'm very concerned with Nico Collins for many reasons. The defense there is so goddamn elite. Yep. CJ Stroud, as much as I think he's in a bounce back year, whatever that means. Jaden Higgins looked really good last year. Tank Dell doesn't scare me from a target share perspective because I think he's going to open up this offense. But they're going to want to run the ball. Now they have an actual running back in Montgomery. Like, Nico just seems like a floor play. Like, I definitely want Drake London and A.J. Brown in a tier above Nico Collins, although Nico Collins feels really safe. How do you break down these three guys? And do you think there's a chance that Drake London should be going closer to Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb than A.J. Brown and Nico Collins? Because right now it's like those guys go, Lamb and Jefferson go at the end of the first round, and then you don't have Drake London until like pick 18, pick 19, pick 20, which is like a 9-pick gap.
I mean, I'm a very big Drake London truther. The only thing, as you said, that scares me is Tua as that quarterback. Last year, he looked hesitant. That's what I say. He looked hesitant, or it was what you were saying. He's a pussy. He didn't want to do. he wasn't making the throws that he should have. And with Penix, like last year, I was even saying it this morning. From week 4 and on, for Drake London's game 1 was 25 points, 31 points, 8 points, 38 points, 24, and 19. Like that's a superstar. Like, he was breaking out and then he got injured. So I'm very excited to see what he can do this year. I'm gonna rank him, obviously above those two guys. But I definitely agree with you. I feel like Nico should just be in a whole tier of his own. So I'm gonna take Nico above those guys, but I'm never gonna take Nico above AJ Brown or Drake London.
You're almost saying Nico should be in tier 3 by himself. Like AJ Brown and London are closer to Lamb. I feel that because I definitely want Nico over Pickens. I think there's an argument now, Olave, and we'll get to that in a second, Olave in the Nico tier just based on the Jordan Tyson news. Like, that is huge, man. We want to buy into Kellen Moore's offense, even if you're not a Shuck guy. The pace alone is worth the trip. The pace alone with Kellen Moore, like, there's going to be a lot of volume, and Olave is a good player. Bayou Bengal, what's going on, guy? You got to check out his channel. He is streaming best ball. He knows his shit. He has a little southern twang to him as well. So shout out to Bayou Bengal. Let's hit the intro up here in a second. I do have a super to get to. Jonathan says, $1 for the swear jar, Chaz. Yeah, you said pussy. You said pussy on the air. What is – I noticed that. Thank you for pointing it out. Chaz said pussy. Is it the first time you've ever said pussy? It's insane.
I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the fuck would it be between that or Muhammad? Why don't you just pick a common name like a normal person?
Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a fucking book for one.
All right, I'm going to hit you guys with the intro. By the way, you're going to want to stick around for this one, especially you, Chaz, because someone brought up the Sutton thing. We're about to get to Sutton in a little bit. This is a throwback from I think it was November last year when your Sutton love was just off the fucking charts. And we'll be back in 30 seconds. Didn't see that. I said boner material for Chaz because you jerk it to Sutton all goddamn day. And it's fine. He's a good looking man. He's a nice guy by all accounts. You could definitely get in that ass, bro. No?
Oh boy. No.
Oh boy. God, such a nice kid. All right, let's get to a beer chug here first before we get back to the third tier here. Beer chug race, me versus myself, the best kind. Here we go.
Here you go.
I don't know.
That's
if you
for
just,
Connor.
I don't know if you just purposely timed that, but that was exactly the same because I could see you through that thing. You literally chugged it at the same time, on both on air and in the video.
It's not bad. I think I lost. That was a little slow. I had some Jaeger at Nico's house for the draft tonight. 3-hour online draft is rough. Offline, it's fine because you have the board. I understand that. But when you do IDP, Ibuka is in the next tier, man. So is he not even in this tier? We didn't make these tiers, by the way. This is Fantasy Pros tiers. Before I get to that, couple things to get to. Chaz's love of Sutton for sure. Let's give a shout out to Miss Helen Hunt, looking like a weather lady. Appreciate you. I do want to shout out to a couple new Patreon members, Ryan Milkers, John Quaid, and Junkbuster, who's been in for a little while. All you guys, appreciate you. Anyone interested, this is the time. You have 4 days to be an OG. Chaz, on the 20th, in 4 days, that is our 1-year anniversary of our first stream. We've been around for 5 years. The first stream I did was August 20th last year. So this is your chance to be an OG. And what that means, it means a lot of things. It means that if you stay with us for a long time, when shit goes up, which inflation happens and prices go up and tiers change, your shit never changes. Ever, ever, ever. You are grandfathered in at $5 a month or $10 a month, whatever you choose. So if you go after the 20th, you're not going to be an OG, unfortunately. So you still want you in there. But use the code PRO, get 50% off your first month. This is the time to join. We offer a million different things. Come on the show. Come on the show and hang out with us. Free merchandise giveaways. You see Chaz is rocking the hat and the fucking shirts. I have a pretty cool Chris Farley and Van Gogh shirt, but I won't give that away. But guest appearance in the show, community fantasy leagues. We still have a couple spots open in those. The Discord, which is the fucking place to be, and the prop bets, guys. If you just don't even want to watch a show and you want to fucking make money, these are even odds bets, minus 120 at best. No alt lines, 96 and 58 last year. These are my player props. I don't do lines. I don't fuck around with that shit. 4 years of 60% plus, which you're not going to find anywhere else. If you do find it, they're going to charge you like $200 a month, dude. This is fucking $10 a month to get this, as well as all the other stuff. So go to the link in the description, go to the Patreon, sign up, get 50% off, join us. I'll send you an email to get you in there at the end of this night. It is the place to be. Chaz is in there. All the co-hosts are in there. All the awesome OGs are in there. It's all broken up with different tiers, different tabs for all different things. People in there all the fucking time. We have 65 people in there right now. It's crowded, but not too crowded. And, you know, as long as this dude's not in there, we're good. We don't want him in there because then it'd be issue. It is age restricted as well. All right. If you have any questions, also just hit up the chat. Most of these guys in here are in the community. They will answer your questions. Let's get back to the tiers. And we have a couple people I got to shout out here. So I think I saw Who Hames in here. Who Hames. Me and Who Hames are doing a stream on Thursday, a home and away. I'm going on his show early, and he's coming on this show to give his exposures. He's exposing himself, all his underdog exposures. And by the way, talk about best ball maven. Motherfucker has over 12 grand. I think it's 12 grand in best ball. Like, how many teams is that, dude? How many teams, who Hames? I don't even think you know because there's so many. But he said yesterday he's not an expert. He's a degen. He's both, because if he was just a degen, he'd be poor, because he's still doing this. It means he's winning every year because he's the man. So we got to pick his brain on best ball and all those things. Great dude, great channel. Check that out. And let's get back to it. The Ibuka thing. It's weird he's not in this list. So, hey, Big Ray is in here. We have a doctor. Everybody, before we get to the thing, we do have a doctor in here. So if anyone has any medical emergencies or player, questions about injuries, Josh Jacobs, ask him.
He had a meniscus issue, which totally tanked Derrick Rose's career.
All right, back to the tiers, man. And we finished up the second tier. Let's go on to tier 3. George Pickens, Chris Olave, Rashee Rice, Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers, Neighbors, which is definitely going to be moving up, Garrett Wilson, and Ted McMillan. I love this tier. And this is why I don't like picking on the left side, it's specifically in best ball, because I could make arguments for Tet, Garrett Wilson, Neighbors, and Flowers over Pickens, Olave, Rice, and Smith. Like, I feel like this is a pretty balanced tier. And McMillan bleeds into the 4th round a lot of times. And I see a lot of times people are taking Pickens in the 2nd round. I am not into George Pickens this year. George Pickens made me $7,000 last year, I want to say. Like, I had him on 14 of my 36 teams, so much in best ball as well. But it was a fucking 6th round pick. We're looking at an end of the 2nd round pick for George Pickens. The upside, though, Chaz, is that George Pickens is playing for a contract. And if it wasn't for his 1.5 pouting streak, he would have had a much bigger year, because remember the Flournoy game where he had like 7 for 130 and a touchdown? That would have gone to Pickens if he was actually playing football instead of bitching and whining and crying. But George Pickens, where does he belong here? He's definitely not in the 2nd tier, I don't think, for you. But Olave, Rice, Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers, and Neighbors. Let's throw all those guys in here. I definitely want Pickens over Garrett Wilson and Ted McMillan, but I can make an argument for all the 4 players after him I want over George Pickens.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see why you would do that, and I feel like I'm still going to keep him at 10. It's just the fact that I don't know if I want to, I mean, especially because you're going to be drafting him in comparison at value with, some of those other guys. It's just really hard to take him, as you were saying, in that back end of the 2nd round. But I can definitely see why people would want Olave, especially with this Tyson news coming out, and the fact that, what's going on with Tyson, and he could just be their, for sure number 1, in the fact that he's going to be there all alone instead of with Tyson, which I love Kilmore's offense, and I think Shuck's going to have a great year. So that could also kind of boost my rankings, but I still would have Pickens just because of how elite that Dallas, offense should be, and how elite, Pickens is, as well as the fact that he's also playing for a contract this year. So I think a lot of chips are falling in Pickens' place, and I think he should be primed for another great year.
So early 2nd round, I can't get behind because, a lot of people that hate on the early tight end strategy, which I have been on board with for a while. Like, don't take early tight end. Last year I faded Bowers. I drafted McBride. And this year it's flipped. It was McBride ahead of Bowers for a while. Now it is Bowers, and it should have always been Bowers. But I am taking Brock Bowers over George Pickens all day for multiple reasons. Who is going to have more PPR points this year, George Pickens or Brock Bowers? It's easy for me.
I make the case that it should be Bowers.
Bowers only needs to get about 80% of the points of George Pickens, of a wide receiver, to return value, though, is the point. But I would make that bet right now that Bowers beats Pickens. The Vegas odds don't bear that out, but dude, I'm very confident Bowers has 100 receptions this year. Like, George Pickens last year didn't have 100 receptions, and CeeDee Lamb missed most of the season. So I understand the appeal of Pickens, and for me, it's mostly based on touchdowns. It's kind of similar to the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase thing, where it's like T. Higgins on a per game basis scores a hell of a lot of touchdowns, but the volume just won't be there because Jamar Chase is going to siphon that. And CeeDee Lamb, I'm sorry, guys, I think there's some recency bias out there that like George Pickens is better than CeeDee Lamb. We had a couple guys in the chat say that. That's insane. That's stupid. Like, George Pickens is a good receiver. I've loved George Pickens since college, but George Pickens is nowhere near the receiver or versatile, anything that CeeDee Lamb is. So let's just nip that one right in the butt. Let's move on to Chris Olave, Rashee Rice, and Devonta Smith. Mostly Rashee Rice. So I just took him in the draft tonight, half PPR. It was round 4, though. Like, I love him there. Typically, Rashee Rice in best ball goes to the 2-3 turn. you're looking at pick 27 typically for Rashee Rice in full PPR. I don't hate that. I see the upside of it. If you want to play aggressively, yes, but you have I think the suspension thing we need to throw out. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's fine there. At least currently, he might do something else to get suspended. But, I'm not worried about that. But it's the knee injury. It's rehabbing in jail. The film, at least what I saw in preseason, at least in, the practices, don't look great. I never thought Rashee Rice was a very good player. But the role is super fucking lucrative. Are we going to trust Xavier Worthy? Cyrus Allen is getting buzzed. Get the hell out of here with that. And literally, Travis Kelce is like 48 years old. So it's Rashee Rice's team. Now you have Kenneth Walker, less rushing upside for Mahomes this year, which should lead to more dump offs. Where are you at for Rashee Rice?
I mean, when he came back from that suspension last year, he seemed to be the wide receiver one that everyone kind of wanted him to be. I kind of like his ranking. I don't think he should be above Pickens and Olave. They should be throwing the ball a lot more. Well, I wouldn't say throwing the ball a lot more, but with the fact that Mahomes just isn't going to be able to scramble as much, and the fact that they have Kenneth Walker now, are they going to be running the ball more is what I meant. That kind of limits what I think he could possibly do, but Mahomes still has an absolute cannon, so it's just Mahomes.
But the cannon doesn't affect Rashee Rice at all, because I mentioned this the other night. Shout out to Ian Hartnett on X. He posts these videos, and he's an awesome follow. Check him out for sure. He's one of the few guys I do follow on X and actually pay attention to. He put up a clip of all Rashee Rice's 24-plus air yards receptions in his career. It was 8 seconds. It was one. He had one catch of over 24 air yards in his career, because Rashee Rice is a cookie-cutter player. He's not a real wide receiver. He can't beat man coverage. And, again, in PPR, we don't give a fuck. Give us 110 catches if he stays healthy. He's just never stayed healthy. Rashee Rice or Devonta Smith right now. I mean, they're definitely different archetypes, different risk levels, but the upside is with Rashee Rice. I understand that. I think. Or am I wrong? Is it Devonta Smith? Because he's actually a Heisman winner, stud, less pass volume in that offense, though.
I mean, I'm kind of off on Devonta Smith, and I know you're really in on Devonta Smith. I know you own him in the Dynasty League. You own him and Zay Flowers. So, I mean, I think Zay Flowers should be, in my opinion, above Smith, but I think Rice should be, above both of those guys. I just think in that Chiefs offense, last year was obviously a bad year for the Chiefs, but I think they got to come back strong. And Rice should be getting a bunch of those, especially in PPR, early targets. As you said, he only had one target over, or one reception over 24 yards. So
it's wild. Hey, Goon, just so you know, if you're going to make a statement, totally cool. Call us out whenever you want. Give some context. You can't just make a blanket statement. What was he lost about, and what were you confused what he was talking about? Because as you know, I will call out my own co-host or anyone, because that's what I do. I do that with Storey all the time. So just so you know, I'm cool with any comments. Just don't post blanket statements that might be trolling. So if you want to reiterate that and to revise that, we'll address it 100%, man. So give us something exact. And you know what? I'll also roast Chaz on it, because that's what I do. I roast myself all the time, man. I'm fat with a small dick. Whatever. It works, bro. It's 6 inches. It's actually not that small, but it is compared to some people.
We embrace the hate. We embrace it.
100%.
I love it.
Oh, you can't troll this channel, actually, but that was just that's where I draw the line. If you're going to say something, make a point of what you mean. What do you mean? Because we were talking about a bunch of things there. I have no idea. I didn't have any issue with what you said. Zay Flowers. For me, I love Zay Flowers this year. I've always loved Zay Flowers. It's the touchdown thing. The touchdowns are a big problem with Zay Flowers. And last year he scored 2 touchdowns when it didn't matter. It mattered for the team of the Ravens, but that was the Week 18 game against the Steelers where he had 2 touchdowns in the second half. That's the upside. And it's the Lamar Jackson fuck you tour. It's this team getting back, Lamar Jackson staying healthy. No Isaiah Likely. I don't give a fuck about Jacoby Lane and Surratt. Get the hell out of here. So where are you at on Flowers? Flowers or Devonta Smith?
I mean, I did just say that. When we were talking about the Rashee Rice rankings, I have Flowers over Smith. I just think the fact that he just got paid, the fact that they didn't add anything, they lost in Likely. I know they added Surratt, but I think this is, as you said, a fuck you tour for Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to come back to the reins. And, last time he had that, I mean, Zay Flowers had a lot of productions, but the only worries is just Mark Andrews and Derrick Henry in the red zone vulturing all those touchdowns. That's my only worry with him.
the touchdowns are an issue, but in PPR, touchdowns don't matter nearly as much.
Yeah,
And the low passing volume is a concern. Like we want the attempts, the volume, the targets, but the efficiency matters as well. And Zay Flowers is a type of player. Again, I love his film. I've loved him since Boston College. If it was a normal offense without Derrick Henry in the backfield, without Lamar Jackson threatening, all three levels, he's going to get open against double coverage, right? Because you cannot guard Zay Flowers. The dude is so shifty. He's almost like in terms of route running, he's Steve Smith level shit. Like Steve Smith all-timer. This is Zay Flowers and super scrappy as well. But the amount of single coverage Zay Flowers is going to get, even though he doesn't have another receiver to really take the pressure off him, that doesn't matter because Derrick Henry, the RPO between Derrick Henry and Lamar is going to draw that. Like they cannot afford to double cover Zay or, before, pre-snap, be like, all right, we're watching Zay, because if you do that, Derrick Henry is gone for 60 yards. Or, Lamar keeps it and it's not a pass play and Lamar is up the left sideline for 34 yards. Like that is the upside of Zay Flowers in this offense. When it gets humming, this run first, this run heavy scheme that just beats you into oblivion just gives Zay Flowers 3 or 4 opportunities a game that no other receiver is really going to get. You mix that with his skill set, his game-bringing ability, that is where Zay Flowers will score his touchdowns, right? There, it's almost Deshaun Watson, not Watson, Deshaun Jackson level shit, where it's like, oh, well, he just scored a 60-yard touchdown again. That's game-breaking shit. Again, maybe a better and best ball guy, but, he had 90-plus receptions last year. Like, that's what I'm banking on as well. Love Zay Flowers. Malik Neighbors, Chaz, this is a hard one to talk about because we don't know. People say they do know. They said it, a month ago. They're like, well, he's gonna be on the pup. And then I was always like, he's not going to be in the pup. I'm confident he plays, maybe not week 1, but like week 2 or week 3. And now all the positive stuff, everyone's like, he's playing week 1. I'm standing firm on I don't think he's playing week 1. I think it's going to be not pup. Either way, we're not going to know. And if some people are drafting, I just did a draft tonight, a home league draft tonight. Like we are drafting now, and it's a risky pick. Where would you put him in this range? Let's talk about, I know it depends on league. I guess shallower league, we want to take Malik Neighbors in like the second round because it doesn't matter. We can fucking draft, Chris Godwin as our flex or something and we'll be fine. But in a deep league, you're going to be stuck with Matthew Golden in your flex. You don't want that shit. So let's just call this a standard 12-team, 3-receiver, 1 flex PPR league where it's pretty deep, but not crazy deep. Where is Malik Neighbors for you? Like, is this fair? Garrett Wilson, Ted McMillan ahead of him, but behind Flowers, Smith, and Rice? Because I want to take him over Rice as much as I can. Because Rice also has risk, right?
Yeah, obviously if you're taking Rice, you're going at more riskier spots, so you might as well try and see if you can wait to get Neighbors. But Neighbors, it's hard to talk about him because, as you said, it's more about risk to reward. If you want to take a risk in fantasy, which this one is kind of different than like the CMC injury stuff and all that, whatever with that, he has this many touches. It really is just how risky you want to go with your team, but I don't mind where he is just because, I feel like his floor could still be where Garrett Wilson and McMillan is, but then if he goes out there and actually plays as much as people are hoping he should, he could give that easy wide receiver 1 numbers, but it's all about risk and how much is he going to actually play.
Hey, Goon. Sorry, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about. He loves Zay Flowers. Chaz loves Zay Flowers. So, yeah, if you listen to 10 seconds, you might be confused. And he says he takes that back. Mr. Robert over here is hating on Golden. Golden is the second coming of Tyreek Hill. Okay, no. Matthew Golden's one of the most drafted players on Underdog. But, like, come on, bro. Don't be a moron. I'm sorry, man. You're an idiot. And let me do the roasting of my co-host because I will fucking do it, not you. And also, send me a link to your channel, bro. I want to hear you talk about Matthew Golden being the next Tyreek Hill. No, Zach Branch might be the next Tyreek Hill. That's actually the archetype of player. I'm just saying, like, Matthew Golden, absolutely not. 0 touchdowns as a rookie, brother. 0 touchdowns. Next guy to get to. 2 guys. I'm going to pair these guys together, and I love both of them, but I have an answer. I want to hear your answer. Garrett Wilson or Ted McMillan? Full PPR. Garrett Wilson, Ted McMillan, both the bottom of this tier. I'm a big fan of both these players. I think Garrett Wilson's an elite top 10 NFL receiver in real life. Crowded situation, but probably improved offense there in New York. And Ted McMillan, essentially the only show in town besides Joe and Coke. It's all him, man, and they're going to be more creative with him. They say, love the player. I love both these players. Both pretty rough situations though. But 16 and 17, who do you choose? And if you had to choose either of these guys to kind of to level up to become a tier 2 receiver, which one is it?
You know, when you were asking the question, I was going to say that I was going to pretty much have a coin flip with these guys. It could be a flip of the coin, heads or tails, whichever one I want to go with. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to have to go G. Willie. I think it was before all the injury stuff last year. The dude he was still playing well. He was getting his 12 targets a game, putting up pretty big fantasy numbers. And then obviously he just got hurt, really didn't play for the rest of the year. So I'm going to have to go G. Willie. I know I love the appeal of Tet, but I'm not that big with, Bryce Young, and I think people are going to figure out the fact that all you have to do is kind of lock down Ted. I know he's a really good receiver, but I would just want G. Willie just because I think we've already seen him play at a very, very high production or a high level, but now can he just do that over an entire season with the Jets?
I know Sadiq's hurt right now, and I don't know if you saw the report. Omar Cooper is not even the third receiver. Like, that's wild to me. And it's just like, we drafted Omar Cooper. The appeal of Omar Cooper was a pro-ready receiver, right? It wasn't the highest ceiling. And now he can't even be the third receiver in the Jets. That's why I've been drafting Adonai Mitchell everywhere in best ball, because I love the player in Adonai Mitchell. And, I don't hate Omar Cooper. I had him as like my 5th or 6th rated receiver coming out, specifically because of the pro-ready stuff. The pick didn't make any sense. Neither did the Sadiq pick, because I love Mason Taylor. But I think this is Adonai Mitchell. This is Adonai Mitchell and Garrett Wilson. And if that's the case, then this bodes well for Garrett Wilson, because the concerns why he went down in best ball after the NFL draft. Like he was going like early 3rd, and now he goes like early 4th. A round dip was the additions of Sadiq and Omar Cooper in a like crowded room, even though Garrett Wilson's always earned targets. He's a fucking elite target earner. They've just been inefficient as shit because the quarterback play and offense have been garbage. I was saying, I think Garrett Wilson has the best profile and potential to be this year's JSN. It really does, because it's supreme talent, it's supreme target share, and it's the efficiency is the problem with Geno Smith. Like, that's probably not going to happen. But this is the guy. Like, I don't see any world where Devonta Smith is going to have that. There's just no world Devonta Smith's getting 150 targets. They just don't throw enough. They're going to be throwing the ball to Goddard. They're going to use Lemon when he's healthy. They brought in Wicks for a reason. There's just not enough passing volume there. The Jets are going to try to be a run-first team, but their defense sucks. So, like, Garrett Wilson has a chance to still have that typical 150, 155 targets, and, like, he's going to have 100 receptions on those. And you mix that with the ability of Garrett Wilson. So I love it. I think Ted McMillan's safer, though, just because there's a chance some other guys step up. There's just no one else to step up in Carolina. There's nobody. It's literally Jalen Coker. There's no tight end. There's no running back. There's, Breece Hall is so much better than Jonathan Brooks. Like, we want Jonathan Brooks to eventually become Breece Hall. Breece Hall is already there. And the tight end room, like Mason Taylor is better than the third tight end. Or Mason Taylor is the second. He's better than the first tight end in Carolina. Jatavian Sanders, Tommy Tremble, like Darren Waller. What the fuck are we doing over there? So it's literally Tat McMillan, and that's it. 6.5 implied win total right now in Vegas. Like, they were 23rd in the league in pass attempts last year. The Panthers were, and they were 8-9. Like, this year, I think they actually might throw more passes than the average team. They were 50 passes below league average, and the record, their implied win total. When you're losing games, you're going to throw the ball, and like if they increase the pass volume, which they should, if Bryce Young takes a leap, Ted McMillan, second-year player. This is why I'm about both these players. Like, I want as much Garrett Wilson, Ted McMillan in round 3, round 4 as I can get. I really just think they're super safe, and they both could explode and be wide receiver ones.
I mean, I just loved every second of what you give a lot more technical analysis than I did, but I pretty much agree with a lot of what you said there.
I've been talking about Ted McMillan for a fucking while now. Matt says, which wide receiver in this list gets suspended first? Suspended for, there's only one answer. It's Rashee Rice. Like, he's Brandon Ayuk, but he's not on this list because he doesn't play football. I'd say Rashee Rice because he's fucking insane.
Hi, I'm former biggest star in the world, Mickey Rooney. And as you may know, I am totally and completely insane. I like to yell at mice with my shirt off. Yeah! Yeah! Sometimes I like to steal other people's scabs. Ah! Ah! How do I stay so crazy? Mickey Rooney's Crazy Pills. Take one with breakfast, one with lunch, and before you know it, you'll be up on your roof pooping in the chimney. Hold out your stockings, kids.
Hell yeah, that's Brandon Ayuk right there for you, man. Brandon Ayuk. Chances Brandon Ayuk plays a snap in the NFL again.
I'm gonna go. Oh gosh, I'm gonna go. I feel like this might be low. You might consider it a bit low. I'm gonna say like 40%. 40% chance he plays on the snap.
I think it's 10%. I think it's 10%.
10?
Well, I mean, he hasn't been signed yet. We're like 24 days from the season. If he's not playing this year, he's never playing again. Why would they sign him next year? You know?
I mean, I still think he's. I mean, no, I still think he's a decent receiver. It's just the fact that the head case. If he tones it down with the media and whatever the hell he's been posting, I think he could get signed.
McCall, if there is no league fees, I don't know where you saw that payout thing. We didn't vote. I think we voted 8-3-1, but you should know me better than that. I'm not taking any cut of these leagues, so it's 100%. If you're looking at Sleeper, we're not actually paying out through Sleeper, so you don't have to worry about any of that. So it's full. I would never take a cut for a commissioner. Not to worry about that. You know that, Chaz. My cut is you guys are playing in the league with me, and I'm probably going to win. Like, that's the cut.
Well,
you know better than that, Chaz.
Yeah, technically, your implied odds could be a little bit better, but yeah,
I was being a little ironical, but no, I'm definitely never taking a cut. Absolutely not. So, no, not at all. At League Safe has 6-3-1. Maybe I put it in wrong or something, but like, yeah, I'll check it out. You don't have to worry. That's weird. You don't have to worry about that because that will definitely get figured out. Let's get back to the next tier. We only got through 3 tiers here. We have a couple more to get to, and we're on to tier 4. T. Higgins, Lad McConkey, Ibuka at wide receiver 20 on Fantasy Pros, Waddle, McLaurin, Burden, Adams, DJ Moore, and Mike Evans with J-Mo Williams at the bottom of that one as well. I like this tier as well, dude. Receiver is so flat and so deep this year.
So deep, yeah.
I noticed that in the draft today. It's like, man, once you get past the Javonte Williams tier in Kyron Williams, then you have the Jutkins and that whole thing, the Buckies and that shit. After that, there's nobody like Price and all those like really big like question marks. Wide receivers just like I like this guy, I like that guy. So does T Higgins belong in the tier above here for you? So let me pull this back up. The Ted McMillan, Garrett Wilson, Neighbors tier, because I feel like he should. Like that's wider. They have a wide receiver 18. I feel like he should be in that other tier. And maybe Lad McConkey, maybe Ibuka. All 3 of these guys, I would probably stop it off there with like Waddle. But Higgins, McConkey, and Ibuka should be in that tier. Or the other guys should be in this tier.
I just want to say, I feel like this tier should kind of be split into 2. I feel like you should have T. Higgins, Lad, Ibuka. I have Ibuka over T and Lad. I actually have T third on this list. I would just switch out Ibuka and Lad, but I would have their own tier, but I would include Waddle in it because I'm very, very high on Waddle this year in terms of what I think he could produce there. With Sean Payton and Bo Nix, I see you shaking your head over there, but I think it could be wheels up for him, and I think it could be
well, hold on. You're a Sutton guy. So what, you're cheating on Sutton with Waddle now? Is that what you're saying? The fuck?
Well, this helps, son. You have another guy there that can take away a little
What
bit.
is Jalen Waddle? Give me Jalen Waddle is touchdown upside this year. What's the absolute ceiling for Jalen Waddle touchdowns this year? I know this is PPR we're talking, but yeah, like what's the best case for Jalen Waddle? At the end of the year, he scores X amount of touchdowns. You're like, that was awesome.
I mean, I feel like you're setting me up with this number. I feel like I'm going to go 12.
12 touchdowns for Waddle.
Yeah.
Where is he scoring these touchdowns? From 40-yard bombs? It ain't in the red zone, brother.
I think so. I know Son has the red zone, right? I really feel like Waddle could. I mean, it's not just inside the red zone. He can break. He's still like one of the fastest players in the league. I think he could.
Oh yeah, but we can't be
easily get
relying.
a lot of those.
Jamison Williams scored 7 touchdowns last year on the Lions. All right.
And Jameson is not the one there though. It's not the first.
No, I understand. But who's the one in the red zone? The one in the red zone is Cortland Sutton. That's not changing. Your boy. So I'm asking you, like, how does Jalen? What is Jalen Waddle's path to 10 touchdowns this year? This offense needs to be top 5, and Bo Nix needs to throw about 34 touchdowns. Because there is no way Bo Nix is throwing 24 touchdowns and fucking Waddle scoring 12. No fucking way, dude.
I could see Bo Nix throwing for 35 touchdowns. I'm very high on this offense. I think they have a full committee running back. I think their O-line is amazing. I think Bo Nix is actually extremely good in comparison to what people say he is. And I love Sean Payton as obviously the mastermind behind it all. I think that offense is set up to boom this year.
Another troll in here. Talking all tough with nothing about. I was actually kidding. Nothing to back it up. I don't know. I guess nothing. The last 5 years of this show. Yeah, nothing to back it up. You got a lot to back it up. F Football Mania. His name is pretty cool because it's Fantasy Football Mania. He's got a lot to back it up. I'd love to have you in there. Hey, by the way, F Football Mania. Here you go, man. Dude, hop in, bro. Let's go. I'll even give you 50% off. Hop in. There you go. So we'd love to have you in the community, and we can play against each other, and then you can just I'll have you on the show, and you can just shit on my grave when you beat me. I can't wait for that. So definitely hop in, man. Appreciate you. So last thoughts on Waddle. I want to ask you this. Let's do a little exercise. Waddle or Terry McLaurin, because McLaurin goes after him. You're going to take Waddle over McLaurin, who we just saw score 13 touchdowns the last healthy year with Jaden Daniels, the 1 year with Jaden Daniels. He is the clear one there, just like Waddle is the clear one in Denver. They paid for it. That was their really only addition this year. They did nothing in free agency besides that trade. And they paid a pretty penny, money and draft picks. Love the player. Oft injured, even though it's like usually blue tent stuff, right, where he comes back. Waddle, McLaurin, who do you want?
I'm still gonna go Waddle. I really think that Broncos offense could just absolutely explode this year. And yes, I know all your points, and I know you're actually a McLaurin truther. I heard that you had him in that league you drafted yesterday. I think you do have him in the dynasty as well, right?
I have him in the 3 weeks I've drafted this year. I have fucking McLaurin. We took him in Junk Busters League too. Well, dude, in the 5th round. I mean, in the 5th round. Hell yeah, bro. I mean, I'm not worried about the Diggs thing at all. It's just he's 31 years old. I understand that. Like, I'm not worried about McLaurin's skill set dropping, right? And I love Waddle the player, and I do love it. I think it's better in best ball. It's gonna be fine. Just if he's going after Ibuka, give me Ibuka. I'm not a Ibuka guy, but give me Ibuka. Lad McConkey, I want Lad McConkey. T. Higgins, I want T. Higgins. Terry McLaurin, it's close, but I want Terry McLaurin. And then, Luther Burden, you're a Luther guy. So do you want Burden or Waddle? Because you love the Bears. You love Luther Burden. Now I got him.
You do have me. Well, you don't have me because I'm still going to go Waddle. I'm still very high on that Chicago Bears offense. I think that could be a top 5 offense in the league. And I don't know. I don't know where people say wide receiver, what is that, 23 is high for Luther. I don't think that at all. I think that's right about where it should be, and I think it could be potentially higher, by the end of the year in terms of where he finishes.
Is no one gonna acknowledge that he's already hurt? Jalen Waddle's already hurt. I can't trust him. I cannot trust Waddle. If you watch Waddle, it's similar to T. Higgins. He always plays through these things, but it's like you watch this dude limp off the field 9 times a year. I fucking hate that shit. I don't want it. Terry McLaurin missed last year. He held out. The team was fucking stupid for not paying him, and that cost him a season, right? Terry McLaurin's never missed a game before that. I know McLaurin's gonna be out there, and I don't have any faith in this defense. The other deciding factor is I do have faith in Denver's defense. Last year was insane. Bo Nix top 3 in pass attempts last year. They had all those comebacks. Dude, Denver has a top 5 defense. They want to run the ball. They just weren't able to last year because, I don't know, these wonky games. Remember the Giants game? That was like the Giants were up by like 21. Like,
20, yeah.
in what world should the Giants ever be up 21 points to the Broncos? Like, I don't know what happened with that defense last year, but I don't expect it to happen. It kind of limits his ceiling. I'm telling you, like, I don't love the volume for Waddle, like ultimate volume for Waddle, and I think that the touchdowns are going to be an issue. Like, I'm not worried about McLaurin's touchdowns. Ibuka, T. Higgins, McConkey. I guess McConkey has some touchdown issues. Let's talk about McConkey real quick. Are you in? Because I am a pretty big McConkey hater as a talent, but it's because he can't play anywhere else but the slot. They want to make him an X and move him around. Like, if you put McConkey in the slot, he's a fucking slot demon. And this year, with Alt back and Slater back, they're going to have more time. They don't have Keenan Allen now, so it's like, this is his job. This is his role. Quentin Johnson's going to be running sacrificial go routes, and then Trey Harris is going to be mixing in, being the move receiver. But, like, Lad McConkey is really the focal point of this offense. So, full PPR, it has to be full PPR for Lad McConkey, right? Like, we're not fucking with them and have PPR. I had the same concerns with McConkey as Waddle. Like, what is the upside of Lad McConkey in terms of touchdowns? Maybe 8, maybe 9. I feel like the same way with Waddle and McConkey. I kind of just like the Chargers offense better than the Broncos. But you obviously like the Broncos offense.
I like the Broncos offense. I could also see that Chargers offense being deadly this year. But in my opinion, I still don't think it would be better than that Broncos. I know they have McDaniels. I know they have, Slater and what's his name coming back, all. But and I know that offense is set up to boom, but I think it's going to be less of a boom compared to the Broncos. So I feel like I would still want. It would be tough wanting to take Waddle over McConkey. But as you said, the main thing is Keenan Allen targets. I think he had like 100 targets, 120 targets, something like that. Am I correct on that? I will see.
Yeah.
Someone can fact check me on that, but I think it was over 100 targets, and that being vacated, and now the fact that yes, he's Justin Herbert should have more time. I feel like it's a Lad McConkey type year, but just not better than Waddle, in my opinion.
This this McLaurin versus Waddle thing has sparked up the chat here. Dude, McLaurin is an elite wide receiver. He's been vastly misused in terms of only lining up at left X his entire career, and which might change. Maybe if it doesn't, whatever. He's had a lot of good years. He just hasn't scored touchdowns. He had the 13 touchdown year was definitely an outlier, but every year with 77 catches, 1,000 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's still pretty fucking good. Like, and that's with literally the worst quarterback play. It's Garrett Wilson level quarterback play he's had. And as much as we rip on Tua, at least Tua had McDaniels, right? And had Tyreek Hill taking some pressure off him. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Waddle is a more dynamic player for sure. Waddle is a monster. He's fucking super. He's a jitterbug. He's super fast. Terry McLaurin's a real NFL receiver. And I don't know if Waddle is an actual real number one. We've never seen it. It's never happened. He's small. Can he hold up against press coverage? I've never seen it. I've seen Terry McLaurin do these things, so I definitely trust the player. And then the last point is this recency bias. It's the same as last year. It's why I didn't draft Jaden Daniels last year. Like, and now everyone's just calling him a bum. Like, there's a middle ground. Jaden Daniels had such a good, like, we're all talking about Drake May. I think Jaden Daniels' rookie year was more impressive than Drake May's. Would you agree with that? Jaden Daniels went to the NFC Championship game his rookie year on the Commanders, bro. They had nothing. And you know what? I guess I would say this. The Patriots didn't have a lot either. They also had literally the easiest schedule we've ever seen. And they also got a lot of breaks in the playoffs and who they played. So put those two together. I'm not saying Drake May wasn't impressive. I'm saying it's close. And last year was a lost year for Jaden Daniels. And, like, I get that Jaden Daniels is in injury risk, but, like, I really, really think, oh, God, we have another guy. Hey, dude, please don't attack people in my chat. It's a pretty funny name you made there. Metzer is a P. That's pretty funny, bro. I do appreciate that. But actually, he wasn't the one that banned you anyway. So anyways, like, Jaden Daniels is I'm not saying underrated in terms of fantasy, but Jaden Daniels was just as elite 2024 as Drake May was throwing the deep ball. And, like, I think we're all just forgetting how good Jaden Daniels is. He's awesome. And Terry McLaurin's the number one receiver there. Jaden Daniels is better than Bo Nix. I'm sorry. Bo Nix has stayed healthy, but what do you think? Are you going to say Bo Nix is better than Jaden Daniels, Chaz, or do you think it's close? Like, I don't think it's that close. I love Bo Nix coming out more than most people, but I've kind of stayed on my same trajectory on Bo Nix. Like, he's pretty good. He's competitive. He's a really smart, bright kid. He makes a lot of mistakes. And if Sean Payton can, he's going to limit his mistakes by limiting his passing attempts.
I'm not gonna say Bo Nix is better than Jay Daniels. I still have a smooth head in that sense. I'm just saying offensively this year, full offense. That Broncos offense probably should be better than the Washington Commanders offense in terms of just what's going on. And yes, Terry McLaurin is very, very elite. But I'm sorry, man. I want to know these people that are coming up with these names.
I don't know. Y'all need to just chill out, bro. Like, again, I'm all for having fun and talking shit. That's what we do in this show. No personal attacks. Let's keep it positive. Like, you don't have to, like, go to, like, 1 to 100, guys. Like, can we just chill this shit out a little bit? And, like, the vibe. You guys are killing the vibe. And, I do appreciate making a new account and subbing to the – appreciate the sub, man. Appreciate that. That's pretty nice of you. But, yeah, it's all good. You guys can do your own. I can't police you guys. But I'm having a disagreement with Santonio. But, like, I'm not telling Santonio he's an idiot for thinking that Terry McLaurin's dumb or he's bad. Like, that's fine. He's allowed to think. That's why fantasy is great. And I'll take Terry McLaurin. Chaz, you'll take Jalen Waddle. I'll beat you at the end of the year, and I'll stomp in your grave, but it's fine. Like, I'm just kidding. Like, that's why fantasy is great. We all see the things differently. Players, situations, strategy. That's what makes this game great. That's what makes this channel great. So let's keep on the discussion here and move on to the old man, Devontae Adams, Luther Burden, DJ Moore, and Mike Evans. We have 2 old dudes here. And then DJ Moore, who's a relatively older dude, but in a very good situation. Looked great in that preseason game, by the way. I've always loved DJ Moore. And there's, like, not a lot there. It's Shakir and it's Keon Coleman, who could not even be on the roster. But Keon Coleman, would it surprise you if Keon Coleman caught 7 touchdowns this year? And, like, he actually figured it out. Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, like, there's a lot. So how do you break down this tier? I know you love Luther Burden, but the groin injury is for real. Devontae Adams was averaging a touchdown a game last year, and Matt Stafford threw 46 touchdowns. That's not happening again. Now, he might throw 36, but you mix that with Adams definitely getting a year older. If Adams scores 9 touchdowns last year, let's call it 8 touchdowns. If he scores 8 touchdowns this year with the same efficiency, same yards per catch, all that kind of shit, he's going to bust at this ADP. So he needs to score 10, but he's tied to Matt Stafford. So how do you break down these 4 guys?
I mean, I feel like he should probably score 10. I know you're talking about how it's an if thing. Devontae Adams just produces. We know he's going to be in one of the top offenses in the league. I also do really like. I mean, this is a tier that I would not mind, having to be stuck drafting in. I mean, I love pretty much a lot of these guys, but in terms of I really am not a biggest fan of J-Mo. I know last year he kind of broke out a little bit, but I kind of feel like he could be in his own tier, kind of like how it was, because I feel like I'm not going to take him above, or I'm not going to take Watson or Rome above him, but I still don't. I'm not going to even consider taking him over Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Adams, and Luther. I feel like that should be their own tier.
Well, the J-Mo thing is interesting because, yes, we want to buy into good offenses, and J-Mo is a good player. Like, he what he does well, he does exceptional. But the breakout was paired to a couple things. It was Dan Campbell calling plays. It was Sam Laporta going down. Those 2 things, like, before that, if you look at his game logs, dude, there was a lot of 1 for 20s, and that's what J-Mo gives you. And then, like, what we saw at the end of the year was consistency from J-Mo, which is all we've ever wanted, right? We're always going to get those spike weeks and those 60-yard touchdowns, but it was a lot of, like, 6 for 70s, 6 for 80s, like crossing routes, stuff like that. No Laporta and Dan Campbell calling plays. Well, last time I checked, Dan Campbell's not calling plays this year, at least not yet, and Sam Laporta's fully healthy. So that's the issue so I'm a big Christian Watson guy. Christian Watson, Rome Odunze. For me, these 2 guys need to be in this tier because I want Christian Watson over J-Mo. I want Christian Watson over Mike Evans. I want Christian Watson over DJ Moore. I want Christian Watson over Devontae Adams. I want Christian Watson potentially over Luther Burden if we don't get good news. He's a true number one on this team, right? Like, they're not going to go back to their stupid hockey lines because they don't have the receivers to do so. Unless Bell Melton's fucking mixing in, it's going to be Christian Watson 85% of the time out there. And Christian Watson is a beast. It's health concerns. I understand that. But at this range, does it kill your team if he gets hurt? This is not the Rashee Rice situation in round 2 or round 3. This is round 4, round 5, right? So I want the shot on Christian Watson. And Roma Dunze, for me, is right next to Luther Burden. I had him that way, ranked that way before the Burden injury. So I almost want to take Roma Dunze over Luther Burden at this point. I know it's wild to say, but he's going to play more snaps. He showed it last year, man, before the foot injury. He was balling. He was a wide receiver 1 the first 6-7 weeks of the season. So I think Luther Burden. I think they could both eat.
You're still
right?
in that Bears offense and that Bears.
I've always been on the Bears offense. I'm just not in on all 3 guys, right? Like, I'm going to go with the cheapest guy, and right now the cheapest guy is Roma Dunze. And right now he's the healthy guy in the receiver room, you know?
I see it. Now my thing with Christian Watson is just the fact that I don't think we've ever seen a season out of him where it's been above 70 receptions or 600 or 700 yards, right? That's my only worry. Now I understand you're saying the range is that if you take a wide receiver like that and he does flop, will it kill you? Probably not. But I just feel like you could be getting, like, I feel like honestly I would probably take Rome over him just because of the fact that Rome at the start of last year, before all the foot stuff, was a very, very good fantasy player in terms of the numbers he was giving you, and just the fact that he could come out as that one this year and potentially give you those high numbers. Now with Watson, it's hard for me to see that. I feel like all the chips need to fall in the right place for him to be priced above where he is.
Santonio is a close friend of Josh Palmer. I'll tell you, he's an X factor this year for Buffalo. Is he back fully healthy, Santonio? Because he had that knee injury. Did he play in the preseason game? I haven't heard a lot of reports on Josh Palmer. He's more of a guy that's going to hurt the other guys. I don't think you could be talking about drafting Josh Palmer, even in best ball right now, because they did pay him, though. They paid him quite a bit of money. If he's healthy, yes, that hurts Keon Coleman's prospects. He's going to, kind of cut into some DJ Moore and maybe even Dalton Kincaid. So let me know, is he back healthy? And someone else fact check that for me. Big Brand says JMO, biggest disparity between NFL players and fantasy production. Very interesting and very good comment from Big Brand. Big Brand's got a very big brain.
Check out the big brain on Brad. You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
Gotcha. That's queued up for you, buddy. And Galloway, Tucker Kraft coming back. We'll cut into the target shares. The thing about Tucker Kraft is he's not really a target earner. He is just the most efficient, best real life player. And he did all that damage last year on 6 targets a game. That's what Tucker Kraft does. He's in the blocking game. He's never going to be a 120 target tight end. You need 100 target Tucker Kraft, and Tucker Kraft's going to have 70 for 909 touchdowns. So not worried at all about Tucker Kraft eating into Watson. There's no one I'm really worried about eating. Watson's his own worst enemy. If Watson plays, and he is the number 1, which he is, he's going to crush his ADP. There's just no way around it. If he gets hurt, then he's dead. That's what the history of Christian Watson's been. I mean, he's scored 7 touchdowns multiple years. Christian Watson has never received more than 66 targets in an NFL season. That's a fact. That is a low fucking number, bro. And I'm not saying Christian Watson's going to have 140 targets. I'm saying if Christian Watson gets 100 targets, he's going to have 70 catches for 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns, because that's the type of player he is, with Jordan Love being an aggressive passer. And when you're telling me that this guy in the 5th round needs 100 targets to crush his ADP in today's NFL, yeah, bro, 100 targets is nothing. It's nothing. And what if he does get 120? You know what I'm saying? It's only upside. Now the downside is just, can he stay healthy? Because these injuries are generally, season enders, and it's the hamstring stuff. And, He figured it out by sports science, apparently. I don't know how much I want to buy into this with the fucking one hamstring longer than the other. Who knows? All I know is he didn't have a hamstring injury last year, right? Never. He didn't. It was just that collarbone thing or whatever it was. A couple comments here. Kraft not a target earner. Golden has never been a target earner. I think Reed will rival him in points per game on a lower snap share, though. I love Reed. It'll definitely be a lower snap share. And I think the upside of Jaden Reed is with all the issues with the running back room, like they have a propensity to play Jaden Reed in the backfield. Where like that could be your answer. Not a lot, like almost in a Debo level, Debo fashion. That's how Jaden Reed could, but they can both still eat. Everyone can eat in this offense. Like Micah Parsons is not coming back for a long time. This defense is always solid based on scheme and history, but this is not a good defense. The Packers are not a good defense. So this offense could go good. Appreciate it. Big brain on Brand 100%. Thank you. I'm a big Christian Watson guy.
Check out the big brain on Brad. You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
Getting cut is crazy take. They didn't spend capital on him. Who are we talking about for getting cut? Coleman. It's not because of the capital or the talent. It's because of the other stuff, the missing meetings. And if that continues, then 100% they will fucking cut his ass because the Bills are they're not a winning organization in terms of Super Bowls, but they are a good organization. And it's an issue. Like, what is he really? He hasn't provided enough value, and clearly he's not the player they thought he was. So they would cut him if the theatrics and the bullshit continue. I mean, literally, guys, Brandon Ayuk is not on a team right now. Like, and that's because of Brandon Ayuk. I'm just saying, like, Brandon Ayuk's a very good wide receiver, like a top 36 NFL wide receiver, right? Talent-wise. Would you say that? Right around there? Top 40? I'm saying, like, every team's running 3 or 4 receivers out. Look at how many it goes 120, 140 deep. And the guy that's top 40, yeah, there's questions with obviously the mental state and the injuries, but he doesn't have a job. So, like, there's a point where these teams are just like, is the juice worth the squeeze? And that is the issue with Ayuk, and that could be the issue with Keon Coleman. So we have our boy is fully healthy. Rehab went really well. He's going to shock a lot of people this year who have wrote him off. Interesting because my boy Kappa is the biggest Josh Palmer fan ever, so he's going to love that. I don't know if he's Josh Palmer has never been great. I mean, I was a big fan of him on the Chargers, but he's fine. I think he's a solid player. I think he's really good with the ball in his hands. I think he went to UCLA, I believe, definitely one of those West Coast schools. I liked him, but I don't think he's a game breaker. And Keon Coleman has the contract. Coleman has a draft capital. The point is neither of these guys are given anything, right? The contract doesn't matter for Josh Palmer. The draft capital doesn't have it. This is a Super Bowl or bust team. They're going to play the best guy. They're going to play DJ Moore and Shakir, and then whoever else. Kincaid will be in there when he's healthy. Whoever else is a product of who's the best player. That's the way they've operated. I mean, Ray Davis hasn't been able to crack the lineup because Ty fucking Johnson. And Ty Johnson is not the player Ray Davis is, but he fits what they want to do. So, interesting. I like the take, though. We talked about Concepcion earlier. Yes, I love Concepcion, bro. Yeah. He was my number one wide receiver prospect coming out of this draft. I had him way higher than consensus. He is. I love him. I actually kind of high in the Browns this year, which is gross. It's very gross. It's gross. Tennessee. He went to Tennessee. That's not a ringing endorsement. I thought he went to the West Coast, but thank you, Blake. Let's get back to the list here. And we talked about Christian Watson and Roma Dunze. Tate, Harrison, Parker Washington at 32. Jesus. DK and Brian Thomas. Highlight a couple guys here that you want to talk about. Are you in a Marv here? I mean, he got a touchdown in the preseason game. Pedigree, opportunity, all that shit is there. Ability should still be there, although he's not the player we were promised. But guy scored 12 touchdowns in 26 career games. That's pretty cool with what he's had. And he is a monster of a man. He's just kind of a fucking laissez-faire knucklehead. Can he figure it out? Will he figure it out? This is a cheap price, though. Very cheap price.
I hate saying it, but I'm pretty out on Marv this year. I feel like I've seen it. I feel like we've seen enough in terms of the fact he's drafted 4th, drafted as his high pedigree, and we just haven't seen that. I mean, I wouldn't say at all, because I feel like there have been games where I've seen a couple great plays from him, but in terms of where he's being drafted at, like I'm pretty high on Pittman this year. I think he's gonna actually play pretty well, considering he'll be able to play off of kind of DK. I would take him almost over. I would put him behind Tate in terms of these kind of rankings. I'm pretty low on a lot of those guys, from Tate all the way to BTJ. So that's why I'm shooting up Pittman.
This is the risky like part of the draft, right? And that's why like Christian Watson and Rome Odunze have no business being in this fucking tier.
Yeah.
Because those dudes, like Rome Odunze, kind of crowded room, but elite offense. Christian Watson plus offense in my mind, and the number 1. And Carnell Tate's a rookie who I just don't like. I had him as my 6th receiver coming out this year. I like Cam Ward, and I'm softening on Cam Ward, dude. It looks gross. Like, it looks gross. He is erratic as shit. Gross. I've never once seen Cam Ward put touch on a pass. It just never happened. And that's cool. And it's like Brett Favre, but you're not Brett Favre, and Brett Favre was a very, very overrated quarterback because he threw a lot of picks, and he just, like, again, he was great for fantasy, so that's not a great comparison. But Cam Ward is just a fucking little squirrel back there. Just like, you just watch his eyes. He's just bouncing. He just chucks it up, which should work for Cam Ward. Sorry, for Carnell Tate. But Carnell Tate just doesn't have that. He doesn't have that fight in him. I don't see it. I don't see him like making contested catches because at Ohio State, you don't have to. Everything is wide open, and it's going to be tough. And from what I saw of that preseason game, again, it's just a preseason game. Wandale's the slot receiver. We knew this. Calvin Ridley is going to be fucking involved, and Calvin Ridley's only 31 years old. Calvin Ridley is going to be the move receiver. He's actually going to get the better looks, and they're going to say, hey, Carnell Tate, we drafted you number 4, kind of what they did with Marvin Harrison, which has not worked, and go beat the number 1. Go beat this guy in a post. It's not going to happen. And, as much as we don't like Marvin Harrison now, I'm more on Marvin than you are, just based on the price point, but Marvin Harrison was a better prospect than Carnell Tate. There's just no way about it. Neither of them should have been drafted that high. I don't get the Carnell Tate pick. I like the marriage. In theory, the marriage of Tate and Ward makes sense. That's the archetype of receiver you want for Cam Ward. I don't like it at 30. The targets will be there. I feel like he's going to have 110 to 120 targets. That's nice, but it's going to be inefficient. How many touchdowns does Cam Ward throw? Why is he in this tier why is he right below Rome and Christian Watson? That's gross.
Yeah.
Gross. I guess it's because all these other guys have questions too. Harrison, Parker Washington, bro. I was the biggest Parker guy ever. We talk about it all the time. It's crowded. In Travis Hunter, even if Travis Hunter doesn't factor in, this is crowded. But Travis Hunter will factor in at some point, whether it's 5 games this year where he plays, like 30 snaps on offense. Game script dependent or, game plan dependent, but Brian Thomas can be out there a lot. They paid Jacoby Myers, Bretton Strange, all the running backs. Like, get out of here with Parker Washington. It's in PPR. I guess it's fine. Over Brian Thomas, I can't do that. Even over DK Metcalf, dude. Like, DK is the number 1. And I know you like Pittman. I like Pittman as well.
Yeah, I do.
Pittman's going to open up stuff for DK Metcalf. Like, DK Metcalf's going to be on the field every single motherfucking snap. That's what he does for his whole career. Every play he could take, it's the A.J. Brown thing, right? Every play DK can take a slant to the house. He can, because he's one of the fastest, fucking most physically gifted players in the league. And you have to account for DK Metcalf. Last year, they were over-accounting for DK Metcalf because Roman Wilson and whoever else was on the goddamn field. 3 tight ends, Jonnu Smith. There was nobody threatening the defense. Michael Pittman's a pro, man. And do you want Michael Pittman or DK Metcalf in full PPR? That's a tough one because they go pretty close, but it's like a full round difference, though.
Yeah, it's tough. In terms, I'm going to say terms of value, Pittman, but in terms of like actual receiver, I kind of like, actually fantasy-wise, I would kind of like DK just because DK is he's still a specimen. I know he's kind of had a couple down years and all the other controversies. Remember him punching a fan last year in Detroit.
The blue hair. Yeah, he punched the blue hair.
So but he's still a physical freak. He could still, as you said, take a slant to the house at any given moment. I still do like DK, and I think especially with Rodgers in his last year, especially with getting that Pittman help, is definitely going to open things up more for him.
A lot of people love Pittman. I love Michael Pittman, always have. I feel like in this range, it depends. If it's a guy I need to rely on every week in a deep league, I probably want Pittman at the cost, the round difference, because I know he's going to give me a lot of 5 for 50s. You know what I mean? He's going to be a lot of that floor. If this is a shallower league and I want to shoot for the moon, like the ultimate upside of DK Metcalf is what we've seen in the past. Like it is, if anyone's going for 70 and 1,208, it's not Michael Pittman. Like he's probably going to give you 70 for 905. But is that enough to really move the needle? You know what I mean? So the deeper the league, Pittman is probably the play. The shallower the league, the more home run you want to hit, it is DK Metcalf. And, you know, as bad as it's been really rocky game to game for DK. But the season-long totals are always really consistent. I mean, he's missed 2 games from injury in his career. He's missed 4 games from injury in his career and 2 games from suspension. So the whole time DK has been in the league, he's missed 6 games. And every year he catches 6 or 7 touchdowns, like every year. That is his floor. So it's just about the volume and efficiency, and it does suck being tied to Aaron Rodgers. I understand that. But Pittman's also tied to Aaron Rodgers. So I would agree that Pittman probably fits Rodgers' skill set at this stage of his career more. But the nice thing is that at least DK had last year's exposure and rapport with DK. So that's something I hang in my hat on. It's not a great click, but it's still DK Metcalf. Like, he's never going to come out here and give you 45 catches for 600 yards. It's just not going to happen. It's DK Metcalf. Like, I feel like you're drafting him at his floor and his ceiling, though, right? Unless he has a giant touchdown number or this offense goes nuclear. But, like, the Steelers' offense is just not going nuclear. It's just not going to happen. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's a fucking dinosaur. But the last thing I want to say, though, is he is in his not FU tour, but this is it. He's already said it. The last couple of years, the biggest issue with Aaron Rodgers is his inability to want to get hit. He does not want to take hits. I think this year maybe he's going to say fuck it, right? If I go down, I'm going to go down guns blazing. If I go down because of an injury, I'm going to fucking go down. Like last year, he was definitely covering up. So when I say nuclear, like it needs to be like top 22. Top 22 is nuclear for this offense. And with the price point of DK Metcalf, it just seems like a good price. I guess I'm just a DK bro, man. I've always loved DK. And I don't want to give up on the guy. I really don't. Am I crazy? Should I just take Pittman or neither?
I don't mind any of the picks. I know these past couple of years, I even said it for this year that I'm almost staying away from Pittsburgh guys. It's just so hard with that offense. I swear, like it was hard. It was hard. I remember the Arthur Smith experiment there. That was good.
Hold on, I found Arthur Smith. I got an Arthur Smith cutaway. It's really accurate.
Simple Jack, the story of a mentally impaired farmhand who can talk to animals, was a box office disaster that many critics called one of the worst movies of all time.
Got a good brain.
I think you've got a fine brain, Jack.
You make me happy.
But now the question is, can speed...
Blake is pretty high on the Steelers relative to where they're, the assets are being drafted. McCall, guys are so young on that O-line. The O-line is definitely a concern. Not going to deny that one. Cameron is not going nuclear, and that was a miss. It was a misspeak on my end because yes, nuclear is relative though. Like I said, like top 20 is nuclear for this team based on ADP.
It would be.
This O-line is rough. It is rough, and Aaron Rodgers is not going to be mobile anymore at all. McCall says Sutton should be listed right under Adunze and Watson. That's an anti-Waddle take because they can't both finish that high. Right? Can they? Let's move on to Brian Thomas, Pittman, Godwin, and Tyson. So Tyson is a guy, I took him tonight because he's on my bench. I want the injury to be worse than what they're saying because I want to take Tyson shares. I love Tyson. Put him on the pup. I don't give a shit, and I'll take him in the fucking 10th round. Like, that's the player I want. That's a receiver I want on my bench, right? I don't want Jacoby Myers on my bench. I want these guys, these young players that will figure it out down the road. And if Tyson's being drafted here, though, I'm out. So I drafted tonight, and we didn't have any news, right? It's pretty bleak, the reports from Tyson. I think we're all assuming he's probably on the wrong side of questionable week 1, but the pup hasn't been thrown out there yet, and that could very well be the case. But I think when push comes to shove in our actual draft season, which is like 10 to 12 days from now when it starts, we're going to see Tyson go closer to wide receiver 50 than wide receiver 35. If that's the case, are you in on Jordan Tyson? I have to go to the little boys' room, so you talk about Tyson for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I do love the Kellen Moore offense. I do love what Shaw could be doing in terms of what they're going to be doing this year, but it's very, very worrisome. I mean, the guy that I want to be talking about here is Cortland Sutton. I know I was all up in roar about him last year and all that stuff, but as you guys heard me earlier, I was already hyping up the Jalen Waddle and the Broncos offense. Rob is going to hate this, but I genuinely think that he could reach 15 touchdowns, which I know Rob is not going to like that, but that's just kind of what I'm, thinking in terms of this year. I think Bo Nix, Sean Payne, I think that's all going to work out this year. But I'm also moving around in that same tier. Chris Godwin is also another guy that I could see break out. I'm not the most high on him because I think Ibuka is just, way better there in terms of what's going on. But I don't mind taking him here just in case, you do have, some sort of injury that happens to Ibuka, which I would never plan for. But overall,
Did you say 50 touchdowns or 15?
No, I said 15. I didn't know if you were hearing me on that.
Sutton. 15. Oh, Sutton. I thought you were saying 50 for Bo Nix.
No, 15 for Cortland Sutton, which I don't.
Yeah, exactly. So why are you in on Waddle then? If you're in on Sutton, you can't be in on Waddle. You have to make your choice.
Because
you can't be in on both.
I'm in on the whole offense. I think Bo Nix could throw for 35 plus touchdowns, maybe 40. Shoot. I think all the stars are lining there in Denver, which I feel like is pretty hot, a pretty hot take. But that's my kind of flagship or flag plant this year is that offense.
The randomness of broken play TDs will make or break TK's season. And that's one of the issues is Aaron Rodgers is not really doing outside of drawing the defense off sides, which he's the best of all time at. Broken plays, it's the opposite of Josh Allen, right? You're going to get that with Josh Allen. Like Aaron Rodgers is not really extending plays these days. He's throwing the ball out of bounds. And that's worrisome for sure. Josh Downs to the moon. Until they bring in Keenan Allen, if that happens, then this is why I love taking Alec Pierce, because I took Alec Pierce today at like 110 in that home league, and that's the guy I want on my bench. Alec Pierce is not affected by the Keenan Allen side. And again, this is not fact yet, but I'm pretty sure Keenan Allen, if he's going anywhere, it is going to be the Colts, because the Colts are in win now mode. I think they're fooling themselves. They're win now mode, but you saw that with the Sauce Gardner trade last year. They're all in on this, on the Daniel Jones contract, the Alec Pierce contract, the Jonathan Taylor contract. They are all in this year. And, I do love Josh Downs, though. If there is no Keenan Allen, Josh Downs should be taken in the top 36 for sure. Like, this dude, early season is going to boom, and the efficiency metrics are off the charts. I love the film. Love Josh Downs' game. Where do you sit on Josh Downs? He's down there at 39. I think he should be taken above Pittman personally.
Interesting. I mean, the guy that I was kind of thinking. I mean, I know you kind of like Downs there, but I'm really liking Wando, especially in a PPR league. I feel like that's going to be a guy that could see another. I mean, another big year. Came over with Dable. I know last year had a lot of receptions. I know the yards really weren't there, but in a PPR, when he would have like 7 receptions for like 35, 40 yards. And
yeah.
I'll take that 11, 12 points, whatever. So I feel like he should. I mean, if you're going to move Downs up, I feel like you can move Downs and Wandale up, considerable amount to, that Pittman or Godwin area.
Man, Wandale, again, the production is undeniable, but I was watching that game. He is so fucking small. He looks like Darren Sproles out there.
Yeah, he's
and
5'8".
But that being said, my hate of Carnell Tate, and again, it's more the hate of the player, not so much the draft spot, because I do take him at ADP right now. Underdog is like 60. I take him at like 67 quite a bit because I feel like he's going to have solid weeks, right? Just in redraft, I'm off of him. But if I'm off on Tate and, there's a good chance Ridley's just dusty and like Gunnar Helm, what are we talking about? Tony Pollard, like Wan'Dale should be like the de facto like check down option for Cam Ward.
Should
so
be.
in PPR, 100% Wan'Dale. It just seems like such a boring click, but we need some of those sometimes when we take, the upside shots like Christian Watson and some of these other running backs. If you take CMC, like give me some floor to give me some points if some of my dudes miss games. Michael thinks Jacoby's underrated. I think Jacoby's underrated too. I just don't. It's similar to it's almost worse than what I'm talking about with Wan'Dale. It's like, what's the real point of Jacoby Myers? Like, if you want 11 points a game, which is, I guess, okay. It's just, I feel like there's no way he ascends to like top 20 status. And I want to be aggressive. I want to be conservative with my early picks. Round 1, round 2. I want to be aggressive with my later round picks. And a lot of people kind of go reverse. They want to take CMC in the first round, Neighbors in the second round, and they want to play safe. Like, I would rather have, like, would you rather go CMC and Neighbors and then start taking guys like Jacoby Myers and Michael Pittman later rounds? I'd rather go safe, Jonathan Taylor and Drake London, who I know are going to be wide receiver ones and running back ones, and then take my shots on league winners later. That's the way I operate. But there's no right way to do this thing. That's just kind of the way I do it. Hot take, Mount Washington is going to be who is this? MNT Washington is going to be 2026 Devontae Adams. Mike Washington? Well, he's a running back. So, is this Malik Washington? No, it can't be him. Max, tell me who you're talking about. I'm drunk, so the most Sutton's ever had is 10 as one time. He's had like 9 touchdowns the last 3 years, though. It's been really like 8 or 9 touchdowns the last 3 years. Cameron says Dobbins is the dude. Dobbins. You know what? Early season, if you're in a deep league and you're going like 0 running back, I'm cool with throwing Dobbins in my lineup for sure. But you better plan ahead because either he's going to wear it down or he's going to get hurt. And until it doesn't happen, you also have the risk of RJ Harvey just taking over that job. Maybe they're going to trust the rookie there. Maybe Jonah Coleman carves out. There's just a lot of ways this goes wrong for Dobbins, but probably undervalued based on how people are building their teams. You know what I mean? Like why are you taking, you don't want Dobbins on your bench. Dobbins is an expiring asset. I want Jonathan Brooks on my bench over Dobbins, right? I want a guy that could extend to be the leader. And this is probably, again, big brand. Colts wide receiver 1 is Tyler Warren, and that's why we have him in this chat.
Check out the big brain on Brad. You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
Derek, this is not a smart comment, and I'll tell you why. I love you, Derek. Keenan Allen's not going back to the Chargers. He wants to. If they do that, they're going to ruin Ladd McConkey again. And Ladd McConkey needs to play in the slot. Trey Harris would be ruined. Like, it didn't work last year. The numbers were nice for Keenan Allen, but like he's such a limited player right now and such a specific player that they have their Keenan Allen right now. It's Ladd McConkey, who's better at what Keenan Allen does. And yes, Ladd McConkey is an okay X receiver, an okay swing receiver, but he is a pretty elite slot receiver, and they have enough there. They brought in Njoku and they have Gadsden, so they have the 12 personnel option. They have the multiple running backs. Like, I think Keenan Allen hurts this team, and I think it hurt him last year too. It looked good in fantasy, but they would be paying him it would be like a lifetime achievement award like contract. Like, don't sign Keenan Allen. The Ravens make sense for Keenan Allen, and the Colts make sense for me. And maybe you could argue a team like the Rams just to give insurance for Puka, right? Not really playing a lot, but just playing the Jordan Whittington role because he's better than Jordan Whittington because Jordan Whittington sucks. Like, that is the Keenan Allen like path. Like, not, we'll see. I know it makes a lot of sense because that's what he says he wants to do. Yeah, people are saying Keenan. I don't think so, man. I think there's still a chance he retires. Chiefs, Jags, Rams, 49ers, Chargers, Seahawks, is the Broncos start to the season. We'll see how good Nick's really. That is a tough. The Jags is not a tough matchup. They lost Devin Lloyd and they lost some secondary help, so that's not a tough matchup. The Chiefs don't have anyone in the secondary of notes, but Rams, 49ers, Chargers, Seahawks, that's tough. And the first games, I'm not saying are like easy, but like the Chiefs, Jags are probably middle of the pack defensively, but that is tough. Oh, Darnell Washington is Mount Washington, I think. So Mount Washington. Well, he could have a lot of touchdowns. Also, Darnell Washington could have the tush push roll, which is super lucrative.
Yeah, it could be lucrative, like the Mark Andrews tush push roll and with the Ravens.
I feel this one counter. Jacoby is a safe floor, also an injury away from being a weekly starter. If I take zero Jacoby. So he's saying, yeah, I like the counter. This is why the show's great. I appreciate the comment. I'll counter to that. If an injury happens, they just make Travis Hunter a wide receiver. You know what I mean? Like that's the other. There's a lot of variables, and that's why we can't be drafting Parker Washington. You know, I think Bretton Strange is probably the answer because he's going to be playing tight end the whole time. And Brian Thomas is the upside swing because we've seen Brian Thomas be an absolute alpha dog, amazing as a rookie. But we had Tom on the show on Friday, and he talked about tough schedules in terms of like they already said he's going to play X receiver. He has like his first 6 games are all against elite corners. I think the worst corner of the top 6 he plays is Sauce Gardner, or a second. It's so tough, dude. It is so tough. It's Christian Gonzalez, it's Stingley. It's such a tough road for Brian Thomas. So I think he said the way to play Brian Thomas is fucking don't draft him and trade for him. You know, it doesn't help us in best ball, which doesn't matter. You're going to have their spike weeks, but yeah, which should benefit Parker Washington, right? So maybe the play is to draft Parker Washington and then trade Parker Washington because, you know, it's not going to continue. Connor is the clear running back one with the Rams. Dean Connors. I'm confused on that one. Is Kyron Corum another Walker Sharp situation? I think it is. I want to get your take on this because I'm a very, very big Blake Corum fan. And I have been a very, very big Kyron Williams hater, not from a production standpoint, because that'd be stupid. He's amazing. Yeah. In terms of production and stats, eye test. Kyron Williams is a very average running back that is very trusted, though. That's the nice thing is he is a very good pass protector, serviceable pass catcher. Blake Corum is I'm not going to say an elite running back, but like relative to Kyron's skill set, he's bigger, he's faster, he's stronger, he's got better agility. His pass blocking is like 6 out of 10, where Kyron's 9 out of 10, and his passing game usage and ability is like a 6 out of 10, where Kyron's like an 8 out of 10. But the actual ability between the tackles and the juice and all those things, it is Blake Corum. So give me the breakdown of what do you think this is? Because in the playoffs is different. The playoffs, yeah, Kyron's going to be a 70% snapshot player because they do trust him. Regular season, when a team that's going to probably walk through this fucker, or at least we anticipate, what do you think the snapshot is between these two?
I could almost very easily seeing it be 55-45, and just the fact that they don't want to give any one guy a certain overload of work, and just making sure that they're both healthy. I think last year, you know, obviously with that Devontae Adams injury, it was total, you know, freak thing, whatever. But with running backs, it's a lot more different. You don't want to have to be relying on one throughout the playoffs. So they know they almost probably should win the division. Dare I say that? But they should walk through the league, and then it's just about making sure everyone's healthy. So whatever can help get both guys to the that finish line, which is just the playoffs, which I think is a closer snapshot, which is why I'm saying 55-45 for Kyron Corum.
And the upside is, you know, we talk about garbage time a lot with the bad teams. This is a reverse garbage time of like, yeah, when they're up 35-7, neither of them are in the game. But when they're up 28-13 with 13 minutes left in the game is not out of hand, but they're going to win it as long as they don't fuck up. That should be Blake Corum for many reasons. To save Kyron, and also like he is the better runner. So that's how this could be a almost true 50-50 split. If that's the case, we saw them rotate goal line stuff last year. We saw them rotate drives last year. It was essentially like 60% Kyron, right? It was, 3 drives Kyron, 2 drives Corum. But, you know, the garbage time for this team is reverse, and Corum should be the guy in garbage time. How many close games are they going to fucking play? Yeah, if they're trailing, it's definitely Kyren. But how many games are the Rams going to be trailing this year? Like, how many games are the Rams underdogs in this year? I don't know the numbers in front of me. I'm guessing 1 or 2, right? At Seahawks, and I bet they're probably still favored at Niners. Like, so Kyren going 32, Corum going 95. When, yes, Kyren is for sure a top 4 running back, top 5 running back if Corum gets hurt. That's a nice jump. Blake Corum's a top 9 or top 10 running back if Corum gets hurt, or if Kyren gets hurt. That's a bigger jump. That's where I'm leaning into this. And yeah, Kyron's still probably going to return value. I think you're drafting him close to his ceiling, where Blake Corum is the ideal bench running back, right? He is a guy that the matchup is nice. If they're playing the Dolphins or the fucking Jets, fucking start Blake Corum. He's probably scoring a touchdown. And if not, he's on your bench, and you have that lottery ticket every single week. And, running backs have stayed, and Kyron's had his injury, issues before with the ankle stuff. Small dude that runs really hard. Are you guys drafting Ladd or Waddle? So Chaz is big into Waddle. I am not. I am traditionally a hater of Ladd McConkey, but I am buying in on this Chargers offense, man. And everything makes sense. It's all price point because he has some of the most wild ADP swings. I don't draft Ladd in underdog because it's half PPR and it's best ball. And I don't see Ladd's spike week and spike season potential as much as some. But in terms of like a PPR redraft, that's a deeper league, I would take Ladd at the 3-4 turn. I think that's pretty fair. Last year he was an end of the second round pick that busted. But on my Fantrax public leagues, he is 57th overall on ADP. And I have no idea why. It's a PPR league. You can start 4 receivers. Now, I guarantee he won't go there. But, like, if I can get him at 40, oh, my God. Like, I want to take Ladd. Ladd and Tet McMillan, Ladd and Garrett Wilson are a very tough discussion for me because it's probably just smart to go with Ladd McConkey. Give me the proven guy I've seen do it as a rookie that's tied to Justin Herbert and Mike McDaniel. Like, that makes much more sense than tying myself to Bryce fucking Young and or the Jets. You know what I mean? Like, that's an issue. But the player – I definitely think Tet McMillan and Garrett Wilson are better players than Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey is very elite at what he does. He's a very good route runner that's going to get open. He's decent with the ball in his hands, but he is still a pipsqueak. The dude's fucking your size, Chaz, and that's a problem. Big problem.
That is a problem when you're in the NFL.
Holy fuck. Betting favorites have Keenan Allen going back to the Chargers as most likely outcome. Miami Saints. Well, you know what? If that's the case, we cannot draft that. Ladd McConkey needs to be dropped a full round because it's going to be the same shit we saw last year and also kills Trey Harris. So, man, that's wild. I would bet Colts right now. I want to actually put some money on that one for sure. I don't know how people love the Jags if they're a worse version of the Bears. Well, the Jags are much cheaper, though, because there's more options, right? You have all the receivers are going, in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th round, right? And then Strange is not really drafted in the starting round. You have Loveland going in the 4th, the 3rd, actually, in some leagues. Burden in the fucking 4th, and then Romadunze in the 5th, with Swift actually going right around Tootin. So, like, the Bears are – and Caleb going ahead of Trevor Lawrence. So, the Bears – the problem is the Bears are just overpriced, and I think people have more faith in the Bears because Caleb Williams hasn't really failed. Right, we saw 4 years of Trevor Lawrence for many reasons, the fucking Urban Meyer thing. Like, Trevor Lawrence has been dog shit forever. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is only 20. Trevor Lawrence is the same age as Tyler Shuck, guys. That's a fact. Seems like he's an old man. He was just like a 21-year-old rookie. But Caleb Williams has been on a nice path, right? The trajectory is always pointing up. Every season, every game, essentially, he's gotten better. No guarantees it continues, but I definitely trust Caleb more than Trevor Lawrence. Is that fair to say? And take your Bears hat off for a second, but is that fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's also, I mean, as much as I do love Liam Cohen, I know he was at Kentucky there for a year. But I just think Ben Johnson, especially this year, I think that could be, it just should be more safe than what they got going on over there in Jacksonville.
Michael, sorry, I'm just kind of browsing through these comments. We got to get off here. I'm going to do a draft, or not DraftKings, underdog stream here in like 20 minutes. So if you guys want to draft with us, Michael said, I'm scared to draft 2 sophomores, Genty and Hampton. I am much more scared of Hampton than Genty. I love Mike Washington. Again, Mike Washington breaking 50-yard runs is nice. Mike Washington is a raw pass protector. So, like, if you think he's going to take snaps from Genty, they're not going to trust him. They're going to give him some work when he's in the game. Genty's a very good pass protector. He's a top 10 pick. He is very good. Genty's an 80% snap share player. I'm not worried at all about Genty. Hampton has a Keaton Mitchell problem. He has a Kamani Vidal problem. And I'm not as convinced that Hampton's an elite talent. I think he's a very good player. The metrics are great. Didn't see it on film last year. I think a lot of people are overrating his film last year. The pass game stuff was nice. Genty's pass game stuff was better. Genty is a monster. Genty, I have no workload concerns for. The upside of Hampton is if this offense is top 5, then Hampton's going to crush his ADP. But I think Hampton's a 63 to 65% snap share player. That'll probably be equal to Genty's like 73% because of the team. But I'm saying Genty's going to play 80%. So Genty is about as safe as it comes, right? Even at pick 10, pick 12.
Yeah, I'm all in on, or I won't say all in, but I would say I'm pretty far in on Genty, considering where we took him in the Dynasty League and just his future in general. I think this year, just more so with Kirko Chains and Mendoza is just going to be either dump off City or they're just going to be running the ball a lot, which is going to work in just Genty's favor.
Allen could be a good possession slot. Well, he is a good possession slot, but Ladd McConkey is a way better possession slot, and that's going to take away from the offense as a whole if that happens. Unless they use Allen as a depth piece for injuries, right? Now, that's fine. I don't know if they would do that. They had to work this out. Max, Garrett Wilson's the best receiver over Tet and Ladd McConkey. Oh, dude, Garrett Wilson's a top 10 NFL receiver.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. That's never the question. The question is, can he stay healthy, and what's the quarterback play like? Can he get his efficiency up? And you know what? As much as we talk up Garrett Wilson has been a little shaky himself in terms of flawless route running, rounding things off, and not so much drops, but it's not all been on the quarterback play. But Garrett Wilson as a raw talent is undeniable. It's better than Chris Olave. It's better than than Ibuka. It's equal in my mind. It's almost. I think it's there with JSN. Honestly, JSN's a little savvier. But Garrett Wilson has more juice than JSN. It just hasn't all come together. It might sound crazy after the last year we just saw from JSN, but I always like Garrett Wilson as the best of those bunch, and maybe I'll eat my words, but I've always been a big Garrett Wilson fan. Keenan Allen does need to retire. I saw him on the Masked Singer or some shit. He should go back to do the Masked Singer. That was pretty good. It's easy for some guys to retire, but not for all, because when it's over, it's over. Oh, dude, these guys always ride it out to the fucking wheels fall off, man. I get it. Oh, yeah. McCall, if the counselor is taking Hampton at the 102, how can we go against that guy's opinion? Nice one. Oh, the counselor. Yeah, here's the counselor drafting.
Looking back, I never should have tried to do 2 fantasy football drafts while flying a plane. I ended up with 4 defenses. Ugh.
FE117, looks like you got rough weather. Maybe you should just do auto draft for your fantasy leagues. Over.
Negative control. I am heterosexual. Over.
You know what the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and not learning your lesson. And last year, the counselor was taking Genty at the 102. He did it last year. And Genty actually would have met his ADP if he was drafted where Jeremiah Love is going this year, which is where Genty should have been going last year. But guys like him, oh, he's a rookie. He's a great. They didn't factor in that fucking Pete Carroll's son was the offensive line coach. What? He doesn't know those things. He's an idiot. And yeah, dude, Hampton is not playing over 70% of the snaps this year. Taking Hampton over James Cook and over Saquon Barkley and over Genty is stupid. It's stupid. The only way this works out, not even at the 102, but the only way Hampton's a first-round talent this year and producer is if the Chargers are a top 5 offense, which is very, very possible. But I would put it a 30% chance. 30% chance they're a top 5 offense. And that is this fantasy is a game of averages, a law of averages. What's most likely to happen? If we do this enough and we figure out what's most likely to happen and we get on the right side of all of these things, we pair that with player evaluations and talent, that's how we win money. Not taking a Marion Hampton at the 102. If you want to do that, trade your pick to the fucking 111 and take him at fucking 14. because he'll be there. And if he's not there, then you get Saquon Barkley. Like, that's just insane, insane stuff. Dude, Genty was fine last year in reality. It was just not good because where you drafted him. Right now, he's going at the same spot he was last year. They have Linderbaum. You know, the quarterback situation is much better on both ends. As much as I hate Kirk Cousins, he's going to check the ball down a fuckload. And Brock Bowers is not hurt. Like, Clint Kubiak that's the answer. Clint Kubiak made JSN. He made Clint Kubiak, bro. That's all I have to say, right? That's a mic drop. Like, Clint Kubiak is a top 5 coordinator in the league. I think he proved that last year. They won the fucking Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. As much as we want to tout Sam Darnold, bro, like, Sam Darnold also did this. Maybe we should be worried about Sam Darnold because he did this with Kevin O'Connell, and then he did with Kubiak. Just think about that for a second. Like, that's pretty nice, man. Like, I get a really nice hard on with a fucking supermodel, but is my dick going to be as hard for a fucking 240-pound girl with acne? No. And I'm just saying, like, that's the comparison. And, like, Sam Darnold had a supermodel both years as offensive coordinator. Of course, he had a giant erection. Of course, he had great sexual stamina because dude was super hard. I don't know if he's going to be as hard this year. I don't know if it's off topic, but let's move on. We got to get Chaz out of here in a couple minutes. Fantasy Dog says Rob knows what he's talking about. What's up? Oh, we have to do the draft thing.
Yeah,
okay.
So we do need to do a draft
let's
thing.
get to a couple comments, and I have you answer these comments, and I'll click on them. I have to pull up the other computer. We have to do our so stand by, guys. After this, we have to do our draft order for our my home league, and then we're gonna hop over to do a underdog draft or two. Let's see. At times, he was hard to watch. Genty was, but again, this is why I'm about Hampton, not as much, but it was Hampton, Genty, and Judkins had the 3 in terms of yards before contact. Those were the 3 guys, and specifically Judkins and Genty. It was like 1.8 yards, bro. They were getting hit in the backfield more times than not, and they did a lot with what they had. Where it's like Saquon's awesome year was like 4 yards before contact. It was like he was just sprinting through, and like you mix that with the talent, he's going to get fucking these giant runs. So it's going to be much better for Genty this year. I'm not the biggest Genty fan as a talent. I think Jeremiah Love's a much better talent or better talent, but Genty's still like not an all-time talent. He's a very good talent. He's 225 pounds, no injury risk, super good contact balance, like lateral agility. You know, you saw him catch that 70-yard swing pass, that wheel route there against the Texans. Like, that's stuff that usually 225, 230-pound running backs don't do. Like, Adrian Peterson wasn't doing that shit. I'm not saying he's better than Adrian Peterson, but the skill set is really good with Genty. You're a Genty guy, right? You took him in Dynasty, correct?
Yeah, we're definitely Genty guy. It wasn't like it was all bad. He still had some amazing plays last year. I know he had one against the Bears, I believe. So it's more so we know what he can be, and I'm not gonna doubt that. He got a way better, coordinator, and he also got, an improved O-line. So I would love taking him this year.
What do you think about Love? Bijan, Gibbs, Saquon. I mean, all the first-round running backs, dude. Even CMC and JT, you can't go wrong. It's health stuff with some of those other guys. Love, in terms of, I think he's talking best backs in football, and Jeremiah Love is that over Genty, dude. Jeremiah Love, I was talking about watching his film, like watching his preseason game, and again, I've always just loved the player. The way he catches the ball, it's just, there's no wasted motion. It's so soft. He is aggressive by catching it, but he also has soft hands. It is the most natural catcher of the ball I've seen. I actually think he's better hands than Bijan, which is saying something because Bijan's elite. Oh, yeah. I think he's a better receiver because he has long arms. Like, he's an actual receiver playing running back. Does that sound too crazy?
I mean, when you watch a play and you look at the build, like, it's hard not to, like, watch him and go, this guy's not good, or this guy's not going to be one of the top running backs in the game. I mean, they just took him. I mean, he's getting paid what, the most guaranteed money because of where they took him. You've got to be pretty good to be in that level, especially as a rookie. So
good show, fellas. One more trade for the 10 preseason trades. Love the segment. Everyone join the Discord. Place to be. Bats, fantasy advice, and good vibes. Appreciate that. Did you say you just made another trade, Jonathan? Is that what I got from that? He wants one more. You have 23 days, brother. You do have 23 days.
I know you can always hit us up. We'll definitely be in store for trades, especially mid-season, depending on where our teams and we're either going to be buying or selling closer to the deadline. So
I mean, there's no other better endorsement just for all you guys watching is my community members paying $5 to tell people to join. Like, again, dude, bottom of my heart, Jonathan, Dakota, Connor, Mouth, you guys, like that says it all. Like, you guys are going to, that was the message there, was also the crazy trade shit, which is hilarious for Jonathan, but that is what's up, man. And much love, much appreciation for that message. Like, that's huge. It's like, you know, I'm not a Make-A-Wish kid, but I feel like sometimes I am, in a good way, right? Like, you know what I practice, what I preach, and what I do, right, for you guys and for everyone. And I'm gonna make everyone fucking money is the bottom line, not just the bets on fantasy. I'm there for all of your fucking trade questions, all of your start set stuff as well on this show. But the show's gonna start blowing up a little bit more, where it's hard for me to get to every comment. I will respond to every message in the Discord within like 10 or 15 minutes. It's what I do because it's what you guys are paying me for, and also, I learn a lot from doing this as well, right? Like it's practice makes perfect. And yeah, I've played almost 500 redraft leagues. I'm still fucking learning. I'm still learning. And I just want the more reps, dude, the more fucking reps that, you know, a player like, I'm trying to think of a good player like Keon Coleman needs these fucking reps. I mean, he just needs to go to the meeting, Keon, go to the meeting and get some more reps. All right, a couple more comments before we get to this draft order. Do you have a pen and a pad here to write this down? Can you get that for me so you can record it?
Yeah, I got
Take your time. Herbert and Dak are going around the same time as Kincaid and Kittle. Who you taking? I want Herbert over Dak, especially in a 4 for a passing touchdown. Herbert over Dak, but it's close. And I probably want Kittle, dude. I Kincaid, I don't know. Until I see Kincaid actually play like a full season with full snap share. Last year, Kincaid's numbers, it's insane. Like, he was playing games with like 38% snap share, having like 4 for 50 and a touchdown. I want my fucking players on the field. And Kincaid, until we see otherwise, the reports are good about his knee. There's also reports of like a Todd Gurley like degenerative like knee condition, which I don't like to hear. But I do like the player in Dalton Kincaid, and let's not forget Dawson Knox is 1 year older. So we'll see. Chaz, I'll trade for Genty before his value drops a ton this season. There you go.
Hey, tell him throw out some offers, man. He should throw out some offers and see what I think he has, but I think we've rejected 1 or 2 so far. But hey, I'm down to get a deal done if he wants to get a deal done. I'm no players off the block.
It is hard to say, and again, I'm not saying right now that Jeremiah Love's a better receiver than Bijan. I think that he has potential to be, and I'm saying if you put Bijan as a rookie, Bijan as a prospect versus Love right now, I like what I see from Jeremiah Love. And I know it's weird to say because we've seen what Bijan has become, but I can only go off of like if I were to try to like ignore the past 3 years of Bijan and just go off what I saw as a prospect, which Bijan's an elite receiver. The upside of Jeremiah Love a receiver is greater, at least in my opinion. Bijan's upside with shit quarterback play is it's better with Tua because he's gonna look what A-Chain did with Tua. It's gonna be fucking like 90 catches. And who is better with the ball in their hands than Bijan? Like he's gonna make 3 guys miss and get 12 yards on a play that Devin Singletary gets 2 yards on. So that's the upside, but the ultimate upside, I think, is with Penix for the touchdown upside, right? Is Penix going to make this offense move? And I could be wrong. Like if Tua is back to his old form, which I don't even know what that means because that was with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and McDaniels. Yeah. Like, you know, it's probably safer with Tua. And Bijan's the number 2 pick. Like if you want to go chase, then he's the number 3 pick. Like there's a clear tier break from 3, even with Puka, because there's questions with Puka. It's those 3 guys. And if you want to take Bijan over Gibbs, I wouldn't besmirch anyone for doing that. I just think Gibbs is tied to a much better offense. And we saw what happened a couple years ago when Montgomery missed those 3 games. And I don't want that workload for Gibbs because he'll fucking die if he averages 27 touches a game. But it's about goal line. Like goal line, if he dominates the goal line stuff like he did without David Montgomery, all you need is 21 carries, 21 touches with Gibbs. And he's going to be not just the running back one. He's going to be like far and away the running back one because he's going to have fucking 19 touchdowns. You can't make, no one can beat that, right?
It's hard to beat that. I mean, I just remember when Montgomery was out and he was, gosh, man, those games were insane.
What do we call the Discord, Chaz, in the community? What do we call it? Do you know what it's the what is it? It's a place to be.
It's what do you call it, Kramer? It was. Come on, now, Rudy. Come on. We call it the place to be. The place to be. Yes.
The place to be.
One more trade for Jonathan, and it's got to be before the season. Do it. Shout out Derek, American Sniper, Chris Kyle. I know you got school tomorrow, man. Sucks you can't draft with us. All good. Get ready to learn Luther Burden, buddy. I mean, Chaz is the biggest Luther Burden fan around, him and Ray. I love the player. I prefer Romadunze at cost. And I'll break it down like this. Yes, the St. Brown role, quote unquote, is super valuable, and that's still to be determined. The problem is the St. Brown role is nowhere near as valuable with Caleb Williams, at least at this stage, Caleb, than what is with Jared Goff, right? Jared Goff, that's all he can do is throw fucking 9-yard slants. Caleb Williams doesn't want to throw those fucking passes, and when he does, usually they're incomplete. As much as I like Caleb, so that's not a 1-to-1 comparison, right? Like Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, that role is a 1-to-1 comparison because it was with Jared Goff and Matt Stafford. That is a set in stone role. And the St. Brown role is just not the same on the Bears. And also, do we even know that Luther Burden has that role? Is this offense a 1-to-1 comparison? I don't know. I like Luther Burden. I hope he falls with this groin injury, and I will be taking Luther Burden. If Luther Burden starts going after Romadunze, fuck yeah, I'm taking Luther Burden, but not at pick 42. Not doing it. Rob, what's your concern with high ankle sprains? Ain't that real bad? Yeah, it is. And I know it wasn't reported to be a high ankle sprain until today with Jeremiah Love. I am digging this for Jeremiah Love, and it does suck because it's risky. But I thought he was cheap already based on what my thoughts on Jeremiah Love. If we can start getting, it's a 3 to 4 week injury, Fantasy Dog. It's 3 to 5 weeks actually in reality, typically. But he's also a super young dude, so let's put him on the low side of that just because he's 21 years old, 22 years old.
Should be 21, 22.
If I could start getting Jeremiah Love at the 3-4 turn, I missed the first 2 weeks. I don't give a shit. I'll be fine. I'll go 1-1, and then I'll get Jeremiah Love the midseason. He'll be in full form, and I'll fucking win the league. Like, I want the dip on Jeremiah Love. If he's not dipping in ADP because of this, now I have some real issues. But he will, Chaz, because people are scared to death of. I preach this all the time. Don't draft injured players. I don't like drafting guys coming off ACLs. I don't like drafting older players coming off injuries. A rookie, dude, these guys will bounce back. If we're going to draft Malik Neighbors in the second round, I'm not worried about taking a high ankle sprain with Jeremiah Love. Yeah, he could injure it again. It could hamper him, obviously. We've seen it with Jonathan Taylor time and time again. But if I'm going to play to win the 3-4 turn, Jeremiah Love, my dick is rock hard. Rock hard for that, dude. Are you in on that?
Yeah, I would definitely be in on that if that's where he's going to go.
Early 27 second. No, that's it needs to be almost a first. No, first is probably too much, but
well, we might have rejected a first in so far, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Rob, what is our concern with Odunze and his 50 receptions and 100 targets ratio? It's not been good. And, it's not all on Odunze, but a lot of it is, a lot has to fall on Caleb, but Odunze has had some drops, some issues with his routes as well, but that'll get cleaned up. I think both will get cleaned up a little bit, which will be a big difference, right? If Caleb cleans it up a little bit and Odunze cleans it up a little bit, that 100 targets instead of 50, it also has to do with his ADOT and the targets he's getting, which are contested catches and down the field. Let's make that 63 catches on 100 targets. Now we're talking, right? That's not a big jump. I think that's possible. If you dip, we dip, we dip. Song is that. All right, I'm going to get this on the screen here, and we have to do this draft order. This is the wrong. Okay. I don't have my mouse clicked up to this one. So let's get this, share this screen. Jesus, fuck. All right, I fucked it up. Give me a second. There's a lot going on, man. This is hard. Don't you dare laugh at me. Don't you dare laugh at me. This is the wrong one as well. 2 computers, 3 beers in front of me. God damn it. Here we go. It's the Wheel of Names. The Wheel of Names. Here we go. So we have this here. I stopped shared it. Okay, so it's sharing now. Here we go. We'll do this. Let me get this stupid graphic off.
So how
actually it's not a stupid graphic.
Does it go to last to first, or does it go?
It's reverse order. So the first name we call is 12. It's a 12-team league.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12 names here. So the first one's 12, the second one's 11, all the way down to 1. It's reverse order.
Okay.
So you got something ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm all ready.
All right, let's do it. I'm clicking the first. It's the 12th pick, full PPR, deep-ass league. Guys, after this, we're doing an underdog draft. Give me 10 minutes after the stream is over. We're going to hop in another draft. 12-1. The 12th pick goes to... There it goes. There it goes, gentlemen. Rob Rader. I think it's going to stop there. Rob Rader. Shout out Rob, my boy. Love that guy. You remember him?
Yeah.
The 11th pick goes to Josh. Still a member, I believe. It's funny, this is the Elgin League, and like no one's members anymore, and I don't even work there. 10th pick goes to Alec. 12th pick. Or 10th pick, sorry. Alec 10th. 9th pick goes to Ben or Brad, the brothers Bartelt. Oh, it goes to Brad. Okay, that's 9. 8th pick goes to Chazinator, number 8. How you feeling about that one, buddy?
I do not like that at all.
7th pick goes to new guy Carson. That's 7.
That'll be tough for him.
6th pick goes to, by the way, guys, all the fanatics in here, all the community leagues will be drawn like this. Our draft order will be drawn on the streams like this. And we got Greg here. That's 7. 6th pick goes to. You know what? I wouldn't mind 6 here, dude. Hey. All right. 6 is fine. 6 is fine. Better than 5. Fat guy Rob, 6th pick. Or is that the 5th pick? Am I wrong? Is it the 5th pick?
It's the 5th pick. It's the 5th pick.
Fuck, I had the 5th pick. All right, I thought it was 6. 4th pick goes to Leskis. So don't listen to my narration here. 3rd pick. They're all good here. Campbell with 3. Now we are on to the 2nd pick. 50-50 proposition.
You know, Ben was telling me he wanted a top 3 pick, and he got it.
So Jeff with number 2. And let's see who gets the first pick. This is like a record, man. I think it's going to be Ben. It's going to be Ben with the first pick. All right, Chaz, send that to the group if you could, man.
I will. Make sure that
Connor, we're going to do the order for the next leagues here, the next couple streams. So tomorrow night, we will do stories on. So we'll do one of them tomorrow and then one of them on Tuesday. So that's when we're going to have the order for those. Those drafts start the 22nd. So we'll have the order and we'll have at least like 5 days to trade draft slots. You can't trade individual draft picks. You could trade draft slots. There it is. There's the order. I wanted 6 over 5. Chaz, I might be talking to you about swapping 5 to 8. What are your thoughts on that, man? I got a couple 5s already. I don't love it. I like the pick, but
we'll see. I might be trying to trade out of 8 to go somewhere else, but I think 8.
Oh, my pick's not good enough for you, is what you're saying?
5 through 7 is a little bit icky. 8's eh. I love that 10 through 12, and I love that 1 through 3 or 1 through 4. So
best ball. These McAuliffe, they're all slow drafts. McAuliffe, they're all slow drafts. All the drafts are slow. 4 hours per pick, and a 201. All right. That's it for us. 2 hours and 25 minutes. Sorry to keep you a little late, Chaz. Good show. A lot of chat involvement, engagement, some trolls in here. That's what we got to deal with. It's fun. We handled it well. And, no one's going to attack my boy Chaz on stream. I can only do that. That's me, right? It's like, I can make fun of you, but if someone else does, I'm going to like, fuck you guys. No, don't do that. He's mine.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I will, aren't we taking or I'm taking a little break, right? From the,
yeah, take your time. Take your time. You didn't troll, Dakota. It wasn't you at all. We'll see you in the regular season. You put in your time. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to take this home. I have a lot of drafts to stream. I can do solo streams in general. I need you for Wednesdays during the season. You'll be on. This is our guy, our Wednesday guy, which is a big show. It's kind of, after the waivers, but when everyone starts asking their start-sit questions and streaming defenses questions, Dakota, you're a hoot. We love Dakota. Jonathan, Fantasy Dog, McCullough, all the guys in here. Mouth wasn't even in here, but shout out to Mouth. All right, we'll see you guys, and it's 12:44. I'll be on a little before 1 o'clock for the underdog draft. If you guys want to hop in and draft with me, you know what I do. We're gonna probably still do 4 hours a night. That's what we do around here, 7 days a week. 365 fucking days a year. What?
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
You guys. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Chaz. Love your life. Stay positive and respect each other. We're out.